Manchester United side, and Boomer only wants Manchester United. The parties are still not that far apart in valuation, and the next week is key because Manchester United do want to try and get Mbeumo over the line before they head off to America for their pre-season tour.
If you're one of those Arsenal fans who signed a petition to stop the club signing Nani Maduke, this Arsenal legend says that's pathetic.
You can't do that. So I think that's wrong. I really do. You give him a chance. He's a young 23-year-old. He's England. He's got in the England squad. Can play either wing. He's versatile. Yeah. So I'm against that, if I'm being honest.
Either way, it's not worked. The deal's over the line and Madueke signed a 5-year deal with the club. Ahead of that undisputed heavyweight bout at Wembley between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, Frank Warren reckons Dubois learnt vital lessons from his defeat to the champion back in 2023.
I think the most important thing is him mentally maturing. And I think the fight he had with Usyk was the making of him.
Dubois looks by far the bigger man, but former British super middleweight champion Paul Smith told talkSPORT this could play into Usyk's game plan.
With that power, you do carry that late, but also the size of Dubois, we keep saying it as a compliment and as a plus. The size also has a lot of lactic acid will kick in once he's carrying that big frame.
You can listen to live coverage of that huge heavyweight clash right here on talkSPORT Saturday night. And after world number one Scottie Scheffer admitted he sometimes wonders what's the point of winning golf, how's this landed with his tour mates? Well, JJ Spawn, who's just won the US Open, said Scottie's got a point.
I believe there's some truth behind Scottie's words, for sure. You know, yeah, you do have these high aspirations, these dreams to accomplish things in golf at the highest level, and then you do, and it happens so quick, and then you're so elated, and then all of a sudden it's like, now what?
Remember, you'll be able to hear all the action from the Open tomorrow live over on talkSPORT 2.
How you doing today? Welcome along to Drive here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and Stuart Pierce in for Andy and Benty today. Coming up for you on the show, we're going to discuss everything that's going on between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest this summer. The drama continues. Is it time for both clubs just to get on with it? We'll discuss that. We're also going to be joined by some huge names from the world of boxing ahead of Dubois versus Usyk this Saturday at Wembley. Eddie Hearn will be with us, and we'll say hello to Dubois' trainer Don Charles as well and get the latest from inside his camp. We're going to look at the Premier League's top strikers as well. That's because Newcastle are fighting to keep hold of their star man Alexander Isak. So what other strikers are good to go and available this summer? We want to hear from West Ham fans as well. What have you made of your summer so far? Are you starting to fear the drop? We'll be having that conversation, all of that, plus Kevin Hatchard is here for Drive Worldwide. We'll head out to Switzerland on matchday -1 for the Lionesses, and we'll find out what pre-season looks like under the great Brian Clough. This is Drive on talkSPORT. We couldn't do it without you. 03717 22 3344 is the number. Bonjour, Stuart Pierce. How are you?
I am on good form, thank you very much. I had the late call to come in and quite looking forward to it.
Honestly, they've been scratching around.
I'll bet. I know. Don't worry. I don't take it personally.
No, me neither. I was like, I was like, do you want me to ask? I can ask somebody. Do you want me to ask my dad if he wants to come on?
Anybody.
I'm joking. Yeah. It's good to be with you because usually when you're here, it's early in the morning if you're not on commentary. So it's unusual to see you at 4 PM.
Yeah, it's an unusual. I can't remember the last time I was here. It was with Goldstein upstairs, I think. You know what I mean? I always quite enjoy his company, but every time I come in and do a show, because I don't do it regularly, I really look forward to it.
No, it's fun. It's nice nice to be up at this time of day as well with everybody on the drive home. You've had an interesting week. You've been to the ballet.
Yeah, well, a version of the ballet. Quadrophenia, the Who's rock opera or rock drama, whatever you call it, from back in the day. They've taken it to Sadler's Wells Theatre, so we got tickets and went along. I wouldn't say I'm a massive ballet fan, but because I know the film Quadrophenia really well, about mods and rockers and God knows what else, you know, we went along and really enjoyed it. And as we were leaving, actually, we bumped into Anton Ferdinand.
I was going to say,
was on his own.
He was a ballet dancer.
He's got twin sisters, I believe, and they're both, I think he's got twin sisters, but certainly one of his sisters was in Quadrophenia as well as Hamilton and whatever. So he looked a little, I wouldn't say a little bit lost walking out. I thought, it's strange him being here, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought a mod drama would have been right up his street from the 60s, but he said he really enjoyed it and obviously come to support his sister because his sisters had to support, obviously, him and Rio all over time.
I was just going to say, was Rio in ballet at one point when he was growing up? Did he have to do ballet growing up? Have I made that up or something? It would make sense now if the sisters
I remember we had to do, when I first turned pro as a Coventry player in 1983, Bobby Gould brought a ballet teacher in to do new stuff with the players. I remember looking, and Sam Allardyce was in the ballet troupe that we had then. My God, that was hard work on your legs. Oh my good God! And
their wee feet as well. I mean, cut to bits.
Yeah.
Never mind a new pair of boots and a blister.
No,
like their toes are battered.
They are.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah, so all good fun.
Nice. Let's move on. Let's start with Crystal Palace. The fans have been protesting against their demotion to the Conference League. But is it time for everyone to just move on?
Because the 10 minutes are up and the Eagles have landed it. Crystal Palace win the FA Cup for the very first time. That also brings them a passport to Europe.
Lyon and Palace breached the multi-ownership rules. Therefore, Lyon continue in the Europa League. Crystal Palace demoted to the Conference League.
We hope to achieve what is rightfully ours, which is the reinstation of Crystal Palace Football Club within the Europa League. If we don't get that, then this campaign against UEFA and those people that have fundamentally changed the game of football and taken it away from the working man in England will be sustained and continued throughout next season.
Yeah, a lot of Crystal Palace fans staging this protest yesterday evening against their demotion from the Europa League. As things stand, they're going to play in the Conference League next season after breaching UEFA's multi-club ownership rules. I think so many people have sympathy with them as well. Last night, hundreds of fans marched to Selhurst Park carrying banners and chanting against European football's governing body. Not happy chappies. Palace can still appeal, but their place in the Europa League is now set to be taken by Nottingham Forest, otherwise known as the grass bags in this situation, because it was them. It was them who went complaining, wasn't it? Former Palace owner Simon Jordan was alongside Danny Kelly earlier on today, and he said that Palace fans must begin to accept the decision.
The UEFA aren't doing anything that is fundamentally wrong. They have a rule, whatever you think of the rule, and I think it's a stupid rule.
It is a stupid
but it's
rule,
also designed to ensure that sporting integrity is maintained. That's the principle behind it. What they seem to have lost in their mentality is that economic benefits aren't the same as decisive influence on the football field. So because you're a significant shareholder doesn't mean that you have decisive influence on the sporting integrity of a football club. You either want multi-club ownership and you want to allow it, or you don't.
Personally, I wouldn't have allowed it because I could see this all coming.
But neither would I, Dan. No. But the change of ownership, the big thing about the world, and I had this conversation with Arsene Wenger in Switzerland about the big thing that he thinks has changed in football is not the fans, not the players, not the managers, but the owners. I would suggest that everybody's changed because the dynamics have changed. This is not UEFA's fault.
Simon Jordan, his thoughts with Danny Kelly earlier on today, obviously so close to Crystal Palace and their fans as well. Where do you stand with it now, Stuart? Is it time to crack on?
Well, my starting point is with the fans. It's always the fans that seem to miss out on everything, every decision in football, whether it be kick-off times, whether it be a decision like this. Who, at the end of it, misses out? The fans do, which I think's really sad. I think, Forest are a club very close to my heart, but to see Palace, both of those qualify for Europe this year and achieve fantastically well. For both sets of fans, in some ways, to sort of it be, I wouldn't say tainted, but there's controversy around it. I'm a big lover, a big believer that if you've got a set of rules in place and you know those set of rules at the start of a campaign, then you have to adhere to those rules. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and then we got carnage on our hands, you know. So I can understand that, but I still have a real sorrow for the Palace fans in this scenario. I really do, because they're going to end up travelling to places that probably, you know, might be financial out of their means, because they might have to go to the far side of Eastern Europe, that type of thing that they can't afford to do on the back of this.
Yeah, and it's completely nothing to do with them. You know, they're supporting their team.
Yeah.
They've got to see them win the trophy this time. They deserve that reward for following their team. It's got nothing to do with the fans. At the end of the day, it'll come down to Steve Parish, you know, and you're right. I mean, if you're not adhering to the rules, then it's going to backfire on you at some point anyway. And it hasn't. It's a shame that Palace have been made an example of. But here they are in this situation where they've not been completely booted out of Europe. They've got the Conference League. So is there an element of like, okay, then let's move forward with that? Or would you still try and challenge it?
I think they'll have to challenge it to the last minute, but we're fast approaching. I think we're in qualification period at this moment in time in the Champions League, in the Europa League, in the conference. So the competition has actually just started. So sooner or later, rather sooner, they're going to have to make a definitive decision in respect to this.
True, and it'll affected their business so far in the summer as well. Forest, though, they look to set to benefit from this situation of Palace being kicked out. How do you feel about that, them getting that Europa League spot over Palace?
It looks as though UEFA had to make a decision in regard to what they're going to do with Palace. They've just like swapped the roles of two English teams, basically, haven't they, by the looks of things, on the face of it. From Forest's point of view, I feel sorry for them and their fans, because, you know, I certainly hope that Palace fans don't hold it against the Forest fans as such. But listen, they've ended up getting a situation where they're in Europe anyway. I think if they had come from absolutely nowhere to take Palace's place, then I would have thought, well, that's a bit harsh. But they did qualify for Europe in a competition or other, you know. So, as I say, hopefully, I hope that Palace get reinstated back in. I really do. And both teams, even if that means the team that I'm close to, Forest, get put back into the competition they qualified for.
I want to ask you about your thoughts on Evangelos Marinakis, the Forest owner, because I was just watching through Gary Lineker's podcast, and he's been speaking to Steve Parish. He says, have Nottingham Forest played a part in Palace getting demoted to the Conference League? And Steve Parish says, we're led to believe that is the issue. If there wasn't somebody that wanted to get in as a consequence, then there wouldn't be an issue. How do you make of Marinakis and the way he goes about his business?
Well, firstly, I would find it quite strange that if the rules of UEFA have been broken and they've decided to demote Crystal Palace, I don't see what that's got to do with the Forest owner. I really don't. If they've just adhered to the rules and implied the rules, and everyone thinks, I mean, listening to Simon earlier, you know, that he thinks that all they've done is put the rules in place, you know, which has got them demoted. I can understand that. He's an owner that has come in. I don't think he does a lot of interviews, but it's fair to say he's probably larger than life as an owner of a football club. And from Forest's point of view, I would turn around and say, ask the fans what they think of their owner, and probably Nuno as well, and they'll give you a better assessment of what they think of him. If they've turned around and said, look, if you're going to apply the rules to us, apply it to everybody else and flag that up, a little bit of me thinks they're in their right to do so.
Okay, fair enough. And then the way about he would go about his business as well, for a sense, you know, they've submitted this complaint about Tottenham's pursuit of Morgan Gibbs-White and the tapping up situation, despite the fact he has this release clause. Do you agree with the way they've gone about this as well?
I'll tell you a little story about a release clause. I was Manchester City man. I'm sure time's elapsed enough now for me to share this with you. I wanted to sign Steve Sidwell from Reading, and I was made aware that he had any offers above £2 million, he would be in his release clause. So I thought, brilliant. So we made an offer to Reading of £2,001 to make sure that release clause was put into practice, to which Reading turned round to us and said he's not for sale. And at that stage, I couldn't turn round to Reading and say, well, he must be because he's got a release clause, because that looks as though I've tapped the player up.
Yeah.
So the deal didn't go through. So somewhere down the line, the trouble this day and age is players have that much power. I think so much time has elapsed down the line with Gibbs White. I think eventually he'll end up leaving Nottingham Forest. That's his choice. If he doesn't want to go to Tottenham, he doesn't have to, even if the release clause is triggered. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me from the outside that enough noise has been made that he probably does want to move for whatever reason.
Very, very interesting. OK, Palace fans, we want to take your calls on this. Forest fans as well. Is it time to just move on, prepare for the new season altogether? You can pick up the phone, give us a call here on Drive. 03717 22 33 44 is the number.
this will stand you in good stead for the music quiz I've got for you later, by the way.
You're not doing a quiz about rock music to me, are you, Pierce?
Oh, yeah.
I may as well just go now then.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Combined with geography, combined with football. Okay? So a combination of the lot.
Why you gotta do me like that, boo? Jeez Louise. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn and Stuart Pierce with you with Motorpoint. Thousands of cars at unbeatable prices guaranteed. Head to motorpoint.co.uk for details. And the Law One. Is that song?
The Clash, that
The Clash.
is.
That's it.
I thought the lot.
No, I've heard of it.
Good.
That makes you feel better.
It's a good starting point.
I'll introduce you to Little Mix a little bit later.
Oh,
on.
if you would.
Still to
If
come
you
for
would.
you on the show. We're going to be joined by Daniel Dubois trainer Don Charles ahead of that massive clash against Alexander Usyk live on talkSPORT this weekend. Looking forward to that one. Just quickly for you, Manchester United are monitoring Nicholas Jackson's situation at Chelsea ahead of a potential move this summer. Former Wales goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy has announced his retirement from football, and Andy Carroll's debut for Dagenham and Redbridge didn't go quite to plan last night. So the former Newcastle United, West Ham and Liverpool striker signed for the club earlier on this month as part of the 3-year deal. He's signed with the National League South side. He's acquired a minority stake in the club as well. But his debut proved to be a tough outing for his new team, losing 5-1 at home to Crawley Town, and he came off the bench. He's still young. He's 36. For some reason in my head, Piercy, I thought Andy Carroll was older, but you knew him from a young lad, didn't you?
Yeah, I had him with the under-21s, England under-21s many years ago, and obviously I worked with him at West Ham as well when he was there, sort of 2017 time, I think, around then.
So is he all what we are led to believe about Andy Carroll? So a really talented player, a proper handful, a proper goal scorer, but loves a night out. Is that true?
You're not far off. It's fair to say. I think when he looks back over his career, I think with him the penny's dropped a little bit now. You know, I looked at his playing record over his career just before we come on air, and he's put together decent seasons in France and Reading prior to that and whatever. But I think he lost a lot of games because of injury and because of maybe his professionalism in an early age and that type of thing, but certainly was a handful to play against. I think he just enjoyed, I don't think he enjoyed the preparation and the training. I think he's got a love of football and loved the games, and that was the impression I had of Andy.
Well, that's quite nice that even at this age, because he could probably be in a situation where he could lead a happy life and, you know, go into retirement and be financially sound. Yeah. But he still wants to play football. Yeah. You know, at a level that's nice to see.
I think that's what you should do as a player. And sometimes over your career, and I mean, I've worked with certain individuals, certainly at the under-21 level, you look at them and think they're a little bit immature and need to be a little bit more professional in their outlook on and off the football pitch. And then all of a sudden they mature and mature. And when they get into their sort of late 20s and early 30s, the penny's dropped and all of a sudden they discover professionalism because they know to stay in the game is what they love doing, and you grow up and you mature a little bit, and that happens to a lot of players, you know, and I think probably Andy was one of those. I always think he had an inner drive as a footballer. He was, you know, I wouldn't say a nasty piece of work to play against, but he would stand his corner and fight his corner, that is for sure.
That's the thing about characters in football, like it's if he's an unbelievably talented guy, but he wants to do it all, you know, and he's got that character, and it's like you've got to be patient with these kind of people because the talent's there. It's like patience is key. Yeah,
I mean, my goodness, I've lost count of the players I've looked at and thought, it's probably because I was totally the opposite. I come from non-league football where I had to be more professional probably than all the professionals with all the talent. We spoke earlier about natural talent and sportsmen being a natural talent. Yeah. I'm totally the opposite. I'm totally untalented at everything, but I'm so single-minded and so dogged, I'll get there eventually if I put my mind to anything. And I've convinced myself of that over time. A lot of these players that I saw, probably I looked at them and thought, I wish you were a bit more professional in your outlook. That's why I gravitate to people like James Milner and probably Jordan Henderson that were fantastic professionals to work with.
Work their backsides off as well. Fascinating. Good luck then to Andy Carroll at Dagenham and Redbridge. Fans, I'm sure you'll be happy to see him there, apart from that result last night. 03717 223344 is the number here at talkSPORT. We're taking your calls. Is it time for Palace and Forest fans to prepare for the new season and just look ahead, move on? We've got Zach on the line now. Hi Zach, how are you?
Hi Shebahn, I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, we're very, very well, thanks here, Zach. Thanks very much for giving us a call. What's your thoughts on this?
To be honest, I'm all for people, power and protesting and everything, but I think Palace have taken it a step too far, really. I'm a Forest fan myself, and I think they can't really feel that hard done to. They've broken the rules, we've followed them. And I think if you weigh up the season overall, we probably deserve the highest spot in Europe. I know they deserve it from winning the FA Cup, but they got their day at Wembley and they'll still get European games next season. So I think they should put it to bed now and just move on.
Yeah, the one thing, obviously I got an allegiance because I was at Forest for many years, but the one thing I would hope that wouldn't come out of this is the antagonism between two sets of fans here, because I think that would be totally unfair. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree completely with you, Stuart, and I think there wasn't really much antagonism between the two, but then last night at the protests, I think there were a few dodgy chants towards Marinakis, and I don't know, I just feel a bit hard done to. It always seems to be the finger pointed at Forest. I think if the shoe was on the other foot, everyone would be telling Forest to get on with it, but there seems to be a lot of sympathy towards Palace. I just want the season to continue now. I much prefer to have trips to Lazio and Freiburg and all these sorts of places rather than Kazakhstan. But at the end of the day, I think we do deserve Europa League. We probably deserve Champions League, but as you know, Stuart, we slipped off towards the end and we need to kick on for next season now.
Yeah. Sorry, Shebahn. What are your thoughts on one or two of the players potentially leaving the club? Obviously, we've seen Elanga go and Morgan Gibbs-White on the back of a brilliant campaign last year.
Frankly, I think the fee we've got from Elanga is very good. We've made a lot of profit on it. Of course, we need to give some money to Man United for the sale. But 55 million after buying someone for 15 million 2 years ago is incredible. And at some points, some of our fans wanted Jota Silva to replace Elanga. So I think to have got that fee when recently. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, Zach, we're starting to just lose you on the line there. Thank you so much for your call, though. 03717 223344. We're discussing whether it's time for Palace and Forest to move on. Still to come for you here on Drive. We're going to be joined by Daniel Dubois' trainer Don Charles ahead of that massive clash with Usyk live on talkSPORT this weekend. But first, it's time for No Googling. Bet Stuart Pierce knows the answer to this. I'm going to be terrible at your quiz when it comes up. We want to know which player did he give the most appearances to throughout his managerial career? Can I Google it? Which player did Stuart Pierce give the most appearances to throughout his managerial career? Have you got it off the top of your head?
I have absolutely no idea. I'll tell you who I would guess at. Sylvain Distin.
Okay, very good guess. It is the wrong answer. That is your first clue of the day. You can find out next on Drive on talkSPORT.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe was tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season, because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Nani Maduke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk. And it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okolie. But he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover. So Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okolie's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
How you doing today? You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. We're going to hear from Gareth Davies and Spencer Oliver very, very soon. We're looking ahead to the big fight at Wembley this weekend. But first, it's time for No Googling. We are blessed to have Stuart Pierce in the studio with us this afternoon. And we're going to quiz him about his own knowledge of himself and his own decisions. We want to know, we asked you, which player did Pierce give the most appearances to throughout his managerial career? Who was your guess again?
Sylvester.
That's wrong. That's incorrect. I believe it's incorrect.
Okay.
Any other guesses there?
Joey Barton?
No, he's a good guy.
Is it a Man City player?
No.
No, it's not a Man City player. Wow. Okay.
Richard Dunn. There you go.
Richard Dunn?
Yeah.
He's a Man City player.
I told you that.
Oh, okay.
89 appearances apparently you gave him.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, I said he wasn't a Man City player, but
yeah,
we could do this all day. Okay, still to come, we're going to get the latest from the Lionesses camp ahead of their Euro quarter-finals tomorrow. They've got Sweden, of course, but a reminder this Saturday, live on talkSPORT, commentary of the undisputed world heavyweight title fight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois from Wembley Stadium. British heavyweight Dave Allen will be part of our expert boxing team this weekend, and we'll keep you right up to date with all of the action right the way through this week to the final bell. And who better to build up now with our very own Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davies. Hello, gentlemen, always together. How are you getting on?
We're good, Shebahn. Thank you, Stuart. We're here at the workouts. We're going through the card at the moment. We're about half an hour away from Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois coming in. The atmosphere's really building, Spencer, isn't it? It's an amazing atmosphere here at Box Park in Wembley.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the atmosphere's been building here, you know, from the beginning of the week, and now reality seems to be kicking in with both guys. We're going to see a more intense space from Alexander Usyk Usyk, and I'm sure we're going to see that from Daniel Dubois as well.
We've got a very special guest who I'm going to bring in right now, none other than Don Charles.
Oh, hello.
I nearly called you Dole Charles then. Don Charles, the trainer.
Anything you want.
The trainer of Daniel Dubois. First of all, how is he?
Daniel's mighty fine.
Yeah, Don, listen, I want to ask you a question. You were talking about mind games and that Alexander was maybe playing the mind games before. Do you feel that you're starting to get under their skin, starting to get into their head now? Because for the first time, I feel that I've seen Alexander maybe rattled a little bit this week.
Well, you know, all the talking is over as far as I'm concerned, as I stand here, but if there's any mind game, that was in the previous meetings. The first face-off, if you guys remember about when the fight was first announced, when my son accustomed him to asking questions, and myself on the top table, I spoke my mind. I'm not going to regurgitate. I think he got the message.
That's the mental stuff though, Don, but physically, is your man primed to knock out Alexander Usyk and become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
The answer is categorically capital Y, capital E, capital S, exclamation mark.
We're going to let you go. Well, we're going to let you go then, because we know you've got to take him into the ring. Go on.
Like I said, all the talking is done. We're only a few days till history is made. So keep tuning in and support Daniel Dubois. That's all I ask. Our only request is every British person, if you are British, tune in and support Daniel Dubois on the zone, and listen on talkSPORT if you haven't got a television.
Lovely. We're going to let you go and do the workout with him in the ring. Thank you so much. As always.
Thank you.
I don't leave you hanging. Back to you, Shebahn.
Thank you very much to Don Charles there, joining Gareth A. Davies and Spencer Oliver. Guys, just stay with us for a minute. I mean, how are you feeling ahead of the build-up to this fight? Because I was watching the interview with Daniel Dubois there, Spencer, and it feels like he's a little bit different at the moment, like having a camera in his face isn't as awkward as it used to be with Daniel Dubois. I mean, he must be going through a lot of training.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Daniel Dubois is sort of like not just grown physically, but he's grown mentally as well. And that's the difference between this fight and the first fight they had nearly 2 years ago to the day in Poland. We was at that fight, and Daniel Dubois was very much a boy then. That's in Don Charles's words. And Don Charles said he's now grown into a man, in boxing terms, that is. And we're going to see a different one. I've seen them. I've been up close and personal in the gym, in the barn with Don Charles and Daniel Dubois. Been watching the training, watching the development. And I'll tell you what, this kid truly believes he's got this in the bag. They've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. They've gone through it forensically, Gareth, and they feel that they've got the game plan. And if anyone's going to do it, it could be him.
There's some great things from Don that he's told me. I've been up in camp myself. Both Spencer and I have been up to the farm, up to the barns in camp that overlooks the arches of Wembley. And the thing is about Daniel, they've analysed, with a sports scientist, they've analysed Usyk. Don sees him as a chameleon, a bad guy acting good all the time. They've imprinted all these things in Daniel, and he'll quickly take the centre of the ring. It will be an immediate battle in there on Saturday night. Both men will want the centre of the ring. You know what it's like, Stuart. Daniel's had his dress rehearsal, if you like, with Anthony Joshua last September. He knows what he's got to do in there. It's an incredible cauldron and an incredible place to go and represent yourself, your country, and win all the belts.
Where do you think that this fight's going to be won and lost with either fighter?
I think with Daniel Dubois, it's quite plain and simple. He knows what he's got to do. As I say, they've been through this one meticulously. They've been working on a game plan, and I think the fight is won and lost with Daniel Dubois. He has to go out there, take the centre of the ring early, be aggressive, and just put Usyk on the back foot, because Usyk is only 70% of the fighter on the back foot. He likes to control the space, make his opponent work, tire his opponent out, like he did in the last fight with Dubois. And Dubois blew a gasket in round 8 and had nothing left in the tank in round 9. This time, he's got to use that experience, and I think he's got to put him under pressure early. The fight for Dubois is won in the first half.
But Dubois will do that, but Usyk will know that, so he will jump into the centre early and try and force Dubois back as well. That cat-like footwork, that cat-like movement, that left hand from lots of angles. Honestly, this will not be a slow start. Daniel Dubois has got to win it early. And for me, Usyk wins it late. Honestly, it's going to be an amazing night at Wembley.
And in both of your opinions, Spencer, start with you. Who's under more pressure, Dubois or Usyk, to win this fight?
I think it's Alexander Usyk, because we're talking about legacy here. Like, Alexander Usyk's going to go down as just not a modern-day great, but a generational great, an all-time great. That's what's on the line for him here. He's beat Anthony Joshua twice. He's beat Tyson Fury twice. He's beat Daniel Dubois once. And if he beats him twice, he's pretty much cleaned up, you know, this modern era, and he'll go down in history. Undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight as well. So all the pressure really was on him because legacy. Right. Dubois, this is about becoming undisputed. And funnily enough, since there's been a timeline with Daniel Dubois where he's posted stuff out from the age of 13 years of age, and on every single post is collect all the belts, hashtag collect all the belts. That's been the timeline. His dad's been installing that in him. Now's his opportunity, the undisputed heavyweight title.
Just very quickly, Shebahn, I think all the pressure's on Daniel Dubois. He's been through the dress rehearsal. He's the guy that wants to win all the belts. There's ice in the veins of Usyk. He doesn't feel pressure.
Love it. Gigi and Spenny, thank you so much for being with us, back with us ahead of all of the fight at Wembley this weekend. Good to have you with us, guys. Take care, all the best.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye. Did you see that when they come on, Gareth A. Davis pushing someone away? Did anybody else see that? Did you see that? It was like somebody got too close and he pushed him away. I was like, oh, hello, hard man.
I thought he'd have his own security to do that, wouldn't you?
He should. He kind of needs it, to be fair. The big fight coming up live for you here on talkSPORT from Wembley this weekend. Usyk versus Dubois. It's going to be an absolute cracker. And of course, we have it live for you here on talkSPORT. We're talking about the Lionesses next. And Stuart Pierce is here with Motorpoint, new car with same-day driveway. Available on all cars. You can book a test drive today. What were you talking about? You meant your mic went up and you were like, no.
I was just...
Just telling secrets. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I was just speaking of those players that dropped out the Women's England squad just prior to the tournament, you know, and I thought that must have been tough on the manager. I see it from a managerial point of view, you know, and timing not great.
Tough conversations to have, that's for sure. Still to come, we're going to be joined by the chairman of Matchroom Sport. Eddie Hearn is going to be with us on the show. Just quickly for you, Manchester United remain in talks with Brentford for Brian Mbeumo, but still not panicked into paying over the odds. That's dragging on a little bit, isn't it? I mean, it's really taking its time.
It certainly is, and that's a player there that sort of has done outstandingly well last year. You know, he's going to be a commodity. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Nani Maduke also has signed a 5-year contract with Arsenal, who will pay Chelsea £52 million. Do you like that move, Madueke to Arsenal?
I think time will tell on that one. I think it could be a great move for Arsenal or a great move for Chelsea. It just depends how the kid does.
I don't know if any of you have heard Alan Brazil over the last week. Anytime he talks about Madueke, he keeps calling him Maduka.
Maduka.
Just keeps
Maybe
coming out.
Maybe he knows something we don't, I think.
Maduka, but it's definitely Madueke. It's time now to get the latest from Switzerland with our friends at McDonald's.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on talkSPORT with McDonald's. The new Big Arch has landed at McDonald's with its very own signature sauce. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
Saying that, actually, I think he called Alexander Usyk this morning as well. He's that summer man.
He's a law unto himself, the big man.
Our brains are gone. Somebody whose brain is well and truly in it, live from Switzerland just now, is our reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Hello, Courtney, how are you doing?
Yeah, good afternoon both. I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, really, really good, thanks. So match day -1, you've just had the press conference with Serena Wiegmann. How's the feeling in camp? I mean, this is going to be a tough test tomorrow. The Swedes are looking good.
Yeah, it is. I think, look, all the way through the camp, there's been a positive vibe. Obviously, after the France game, that changed a little bit, and I think that sharpened the focus. But still, I think they're happy in camp. They're playing well, and I think that excitement now, you know, as you get to the knockouts, and it's sort of obviously win or bust, isn't it? So I think there's that focus again. It has sharpened a little bit, but I think the biggest thing that I've noticed this camp is how together this squad are. They're enjoying themselves. They've always got a smile on their faces. But you're right, Shebahn, in terms of Sweden, they're going to be a real tough test, and I think something a little bit different in comparison to what England have already faced in terms of, you know, they're a big team, very physical. They've got a lot of threat from set pieces as well, which I think is going to be a big change from what we've seen so far.
Do you think the first defeat might in a bizarre way stand them in good stead, because you're in knockout football straight away? Basically, you lose the first game in tournament football, and maybe that levelling them early on might have stood them in good stead going forward into these knockout stages.
Yeah, I think you've got that spot on. It sharpened the focus. I think Ella Toon's exact words was it gave us a bit of a kick up the backside, and I've spoken to Lucy Bronze earlier as well, in the flash zone really quickly, and then she said sort of the same thing. I said, how does it feel going into the knockouts? She said, well, to be honest, with the last 2 group games, we already felt like we're in the knockouts because we knew we had to win those 2 games because of France. So yeah, I think if there was any complacency in there, then that's completely disappeared for the Lionesses, and they're certainly firing on 4 cylinders at the moment.
We can hear from Serena Wiegmann now. She said that she is wary of the threat that Sweden will pose.
Well, I think they're really together. It's a powerful team. They always have a very clear tactical plan, and they execute that always very good. And they have some threats up front, of course, and with the counter-attack, but also when they want to go in behind. And they have some height too in the team.
Sweden, Courtney, as we know, there's not much between Sweden and England in the rankings. The world rankings, England in 5th, Sweden just behind them in 6th. But we know they're a very, very strong side. I just think, Courtney, this is the game where we're going to have to see that real, like, true grit and character from England. They're going to have to win it, even if it has to be ugly, you know?
Yeah, and look, it doesn't matter in tournament football what it looks like to an extent. We've been blessed with 2 games where the Lionesses have played really well, played some fantastic football. But you're right, it might have to be a gritty performance, a performance that's not going to be very pretty. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this one. It's probably going to be close. I'm sitting here thinking it might be decided, by a set piece. But I think you're right. In terms of Sweden, they're very close in the rankings. The last 2 Nations League games, they were 0-0 as well, extremely close. And yeah, I think it's interesting as well in terms of the comments that have been coming out from Asllani as well, saying, really focusing on that team element, saying how together they are. And I think, we've got a lot of standout performers in this England team, but I still think we're a great team. But maybe for them, they feel they have to come together and sort of they as a team are bigger than the sum of their parts, if that makes sense. So I think we're in for a real good game. It's not necessarily going to be lots of goals and as exciting as the last 2, but I think it is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very tactical.
Any injuries at all within the team or the squad as we stand?
We've not got any injuries. We did have Jess Park today not training because of a migraine, but Serena sort of already answered the question in the press conference, saying she already feels a little bit better. She's obviously sort of been in a dark room, some paracetamol, I'm sure, but yeah, she is in contention for tomorrow. She'll be in the squad as far as Serena is concerned, so we've pretty much got a clean bill of health.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to in this game, guys? It's like the battle of the Arsenal strikers. So Stina Blackstenius, of course, for the Swedes, who scored the goal for Arsenal to win the Champions League, and Alessia Russo. They're one of the most informed goal scorers we've got in this country, if not in the world, as well. So to see who wins the kind of on those opposite numbers will be interesting for this game, Courtney.
Yeah, it will be, and I think the other one is probably when you look at Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd and obviously Lucy Bronze, their Chelsea teammates, and I think Johanna's got 2 Player of the Match performances, trophies already. So yeah, there's a lot over the pitch. Obviously, you've got Bjorn as well, who's at Chelsea. So I think that's been one of the really cool things about this tournament, because we've noticed as the WSL is increased in in its popularity, and a lot of players from all over the world, but especially in Europe, wanting to play in the WSL. We're finding quite often these matchups, and the Netherlands and England, I think there were 17 WSL players within that game that featured. So yeah, it's definitely interesting for the WSL fans, whether they be here or back at home to watch as well.
Have you seen any comparisons? We were speaking off air earlier about the squad and the team of a couple of years ago, that won the trophy. Do you think this squad's stronger, not as strong, or still got the perceptions to go on and win the trophy? Yeah, tricky one for you.
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, it's one that I've not been asked, so I like that. I think they can go on and win it. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be really tough. I think they've got the quality. I think there's maybe, I'll say, better quality throughout the squad, but I think that maybe the depth is better. But the only thing maybe we're lacking is a little bit of experience. I know we've got the likes of Lucy Bronzes and players like that, but obviously in terms of Hannah Hampton, it's her first major tournament. There's a lot of players in the squad that's their first major tournament, so maybe that's a little bit where we've got less experience in 2022. But I think as an increased quality, I think just as the women's games progressed as well, even over a short period of time, I think the squad is in a better place. But I suppose the problem with that is every other nation as well is in a better place.
Yeah, exactly that. The standard's been unbelievable. Can we talk about Norway against Italy tonight? It's live on talkSPORT 2, Courtney. I mean, Italy, if the Lionesses are to progress past the Swedes, it could be Italy or Norway, of course, that they face, which actually seem like winnable games as well. But Norway have to do something, because they're like, they get to major tournaments and then they just don't really do much at all, do they? And they're such a good side.
Yeah, they are, and I think, look, it is difficult, when you go through sort of these FIFA rankings, friendlies, Nations League, but I think when you get into a tournament like this, it's completely different. And I think we sort of said a similar thing about Wales in terms of they didn't really appreciate the demands. And I know it's different for Norway because they've been there and done it, but, when you play in a Nations League, for example, and you've got 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it may be, between the games, it's fine, and then you go back to club, whereas this, you're here for a prolonged period of time, you're here for 4 weeks, you've not got, especially in the group stages, too long between the games, so the rest and recovery and how thick and fast that comes, I think is difficult. And I think, as you say, in recent years Norway have struggled with that, but I've been really impressed with Italy. They're exciting to watch. I think the fact that, again, you see sort of the happiness within that camp, they're excited to obviously progress into the quarter-final. So yeah, I think it's easy to look there and go on paper and say, well, and a lot has been said about, if England get through this, we're in the final. I don't prescribe to that. Yes, on paper, Norway, Italy, we should beat either of those both teams, but we know football's not played on paper. Anything can happen. I think the Sweden-Germany game showed that. It only takes one mistake and something to happen that, you know, it completely changed the complexion of the game.
Very true. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our reporter in camp, thank you so much for taking the time today. Don't forget Norway against Italy live on talkSPORT 2 tonight, and tomorrow 8 o'clock here on talkSPORT, the Lionesses against Sweden. I just don't see a world in that the Lionesses don't get past them, like, comfortably. Stu?
This is tournament football. You've got to handle everything that comes with it. If it was that easy, everyone would do it, you know. It's not. It'll be a tough game one way or the other. If England play to their full strength, they'll win the game.
Remember last time, 2022, that was the Alessia Russo backheel.
Yeah.
Was against, and they battered them.
Yeah.
But then the Swedish do look good this time.
The one thing I like as well with Lee Carsley with his under-21s, they went back and retained the trophy.
It's so hard to do.
If the women can do that as well. But there's an inner belief. You know, football's like, we've done it before, we can do it again. Even, as Courtney said, there's players that have not been in that squad and not experienced that in sort of tournament football, but the squad have. And above the door it said, champions now, you know, and they've seen the trophy at St George's Park, all of those types of things. It breeds confidence.
Absolutely. And if it is another Spain-England final, you think England will be hurt enough from what happened in the World Cup final that they would go and do some damage. Very, very fascinating.
Exciting times.
It is indeed. All live for you here exclusively on talkSPORT, the Lionesses against Sweden, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That was a look ahead, all thanks to McDonald's.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on talkSPORT with McDonald's. The new big arch has landed at McDonald's with its very own signature sauce. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants. You're
listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Hope you're having a good afternoon. Coming up for you next, we're going to have Eddie Hearn on the show. Stay with us for that.
Manchester United remain determined in their pursuit of Bryan Mbeumo, but with discipline and patience. The club feel they've been burnt by paying over the odds in recent windows and have that in mind as talks with Brentford drag on. Here's talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs.
But there is still optimism and confidence on Manchester United's side, and Mbeumo only wants Manchester United. The parties are still not that far apart in valuation, and the next week is key because Manchester United do want to try and get Mbeumo over the line before they head off to America for their pre-season tour.
If you're one of those Arsenal fans who signed a petition to stop the club signing Nani Maduke, this Arsenal legend says that's pathetic.
You can't do that. I think that's wrong. I really do. You give him a chance. He's a young 23-year-old. He's England. He's got in the England squad. Can play either wing. He's versatile. Yeah. So I'm against that, if I'm being honest.
Either way, it's not worked. The deal's over the line and Maduke signed a 5-year deal with the club. Ahead of that undisputed heavyweight bout at Wembley between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, Frank Warren reckons Dubois learnt vital lessons from his defeat to the champion back in 2023.
I think the most important thing is him mentally maturing. And I think the fight he had with Usyk was the making of him.
Dubois looks by far the bigger man, but former British super middleweight champion Paul Smith told talkSPORT this could play into Usyk's game plan.
With that power, you do carry that late, but also the size of Dubois, we keep saying it as a compliment and as a plus. The size also has a lot of lactic acid that'll kick in once he's carrying that big frame.
You can listen to live coverage of that huge heavyweight clash right here on talkSPORT Saturday night. And after world number one Scottie Scheffer admitted he sometimes wonders what's the point of winning golf, how's this landed with his tour mates? Well, JJ Spawn, who's just won the US Open, said Scottie's got a point.
I believe there's some truth behind Scottie's words, for sure. You know, yeah, you do have these high aspirations, these dreams to accomplish things in golf at the highest level, and then you do, and it happens so quick, and then you're so elated, and then all of a sudden it's like, now what?
Remember, you'll be able to hear all the action from the Open tomorrow live over on talkSPORT 2.
Today you're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and Stuart Pierce in for Andy Goldstein and Darren Ben. Hope you're having yourself a good Wednesday. Still to come for you, we're going to be joined by European football expert Kevin Hatchard for a bit of Drive worldwide. Stuart Pierce has Oasis next week. Have you read the reviews and stuff? Do you do that? Do you read reviews for gigs?
I don't read reviews. What I do is ring people that have been. Matt Ford, friend of mine, was there. Daichi's been there. A couple of friends of mine that have been. So fantastic. You know, I went back in the day at Main Road and Nebworth and whatever. So I'm looking forward to it.
How many gigs have you been to in your life?
Thousands.
That's mental.
Yeah, I went to four
last
games? Week. So
you went to 4 gigs last week?
Yeah. So they had a gig at Finsbury Park, which was Blossoms and Stereophonics on the Friday.
Nice,
on the Saturday was Kneecap, Fontaines DC.
How was Kneecap?
And Amil.
Because everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, okay. I went there to see Amil and the Sniffers, which are an Aussie punk band. So, and then what else did we see? Monday night, Stiff Little Fingers band up in Northampton.
Know them well.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And what was the other? I forget who the other one was.
Shania Twain.
It definitely was not Shania Twain, sadly, you know. But let's just a love. I'll get in my car, and if my wife don't want to come with me, I'll get in my car and drive a couple of hours to see a gig on my own. So I enjoy music.
Thousands of gigs. That is absolute dedication. Coming up for you this Saturday, by the way, talkSPORT brings you live commentary of the undisputed world heavyweight title fight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois from Wembley Stadium.
All three in favour of the winner and the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
The first unified heavyweight champion from Britain in a century.
Lennox Lewis.
The Americans didn't want me to take it over to Britain, but I actually persevered and succeeded.
I'm in my prime of my career now, so it's now or never.
Down goes Joshua. Dubois hits him with a tremendous right-hand counter.
He slayed one king back in September.
Dynamite Daniel Dubois has detonated at Wembley Stadium.
He's a about to slay another king on the 19th of July.
Bombs away. Are you going to knock him out? Bombs away, mate.
He's put Joshua down. Alexander Usyk finds the answer.
The minute you have all the 4 belts, we create history.
You know what they say? We'll see. We'll see.
Heavyweight brilliance, heavyweight occasion, heavyweight radio. How about that?
Get in. That sounds absolutely brilliant this Saturday night. Live commentary of the undisputed world heavyweight title fight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois from Wembley Stadium. British heavyweight Dave Allen will be part of our expert boxing team. He's going to be with us all week, right the way up through to fight night on Saturday into the final bell. Usyk versus Dubois this Saturday, live and free on talkSPORT and the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Did you ever try boxing, Stuart?
No, too much of a coward.
Too much.
I was quite happy picking on little wingers, but when someone smacks you in the face, it sharpens your focus, and you think, I don't enjoy this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Do I look as though this face has suffered over time?
Not the moneymaker, Stuart. Absolutely not.
No, I don't trade off my good looks. Don't worry.
We were talking about this earlier on. I was like, Stuart, do you play golf? He was like, no, not terrible at that. I mean, I just think that most footballers are good at all sports that they turn their hand to.
I buck the trend on that. No, at least I know where I stand and what I am, so
yes.
I don't fool myself.
Don't change for anyone,
No.
as they say. How many gigs have you been to at Wembley Stadium? Because this will be a cracker, this fight at the weekend.
Well, the atmosphere there, but I know I've seen Oasis there, Green Day, U2 off the top of my head, so... But the atmosphere in Wembley's Wembley. It's iconic worldwide, so it will be some atmosphere in there for sure.
Absolutely. We're saying, is it going to be completely sell out around about 80,000 anyway? What I said, Wembley, 87,000. So it's going to be an absolutely cracking night. This coming Saturday, if you're out and about, if you've got plans, you can download the talkSPORT app and take us anywhere with you this weekend for the big fight. What do you think is going to happen? Are you thinking Usyk or Dubois? Who are you sticking your penny on?
Dubois, I'm going for. I think he'll be roared on to win this one.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Eddie Hearn is going to be with us very, very soon to look ahead to this fight and to speak about one of his fighters as well, Conor Benn, doing the rounds on social media just now. I want to ask him about that. But yesterday, talkSPORT brought you the news that Liverpool would be prepared to pay around £120 million to sign Alexander Isak, not Alexander Usyk.
Got ya.
From Newcastle. Newcastle are believed to value Isak at £150 million and still hope to convince him to sign a new deal. So former Newcastle winger Nobby Solano joined the breakfast show this morning and he said that the move would be tempting for Isak, but Eddie Howe won't let it happen.
Newcastle now, like I'm saying, is in great position. I know every player goes with your own ambition. They try to win trophies. I think it's a great opportunity. They did already. I know they're looking for the Premier League title or looking for the Champions League, any successful there. But like you say all the time, the fans love it when you're always loyal to the team, loyal to the club. It's very tentative for Isak, He's in great position. It's very tentative for the club, how much money they offer to him. But I think Eddie will be the guy. I mean, the manager won't let him to happen this situation because you build in a team for the last 3-4 years.
The thoughts of Nobby Solano on breakfast.
Let me tell you about Nobby. I was at Newcastle with Nobby, and he got on really well with Dietmar Hamann. And the pair of them sort of become mates and ended up going horse racing together at Sedgefield and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, what a bizarre pairing if you bump into the Morecambe and Wise of football, a big German and a little Peruvian, They must have looked a hell of a sight on Sedgefield Racecourse.
I do love that when you get unlikely bromances that just form and stick together.
Well, here's another one for you. I've got to tell you this. I was at a function the other day with Razor Ruddock.
Yeah.
And Ozzy Ardiles was there as well. And Ozzy looking impeccable and he's a great statesman of football. And Razor's there and Razor's yin and yang, slightly different. They used to be roommates. When at Tottenham, they put Razor Ruddock as a 17-year-old in with Ozzy Ardiles in the same room. Now, I'm not seeing that as a pairing, really.
No, you're right.
Bizarre.
We should have a Big Brother camera watching that back. I'm sure it would have been an unbelievable chance. Going back to this Isak then situation, 120 million, Stu.
Yeah.
If another team are sniffing around your best player, your goal scorer, and that money's been, booted around 120 million, valued at 150. Surely Isak's ears are picking up. They're going, might have an interest in this. How do you keep that camp happy?
That's a tough one. What you want is and I've been there before as a manager, you're just hoping that the transfer window shuts sooner rather than later if you've done your business. Isak is one of those that you look at and think, Newcastle's chances of finishing in the Champions League and maybe beyond that next year will hinge on him staying at the football club. If, as a manager, you think come the start of the season he might be at a different club, so you think he might be going, you need a contingency plan. What you do, you look at Liverpool's squad listing and you think, who can we have in the opposite direction plus money rather than just the money? I wonder whether Darwin Núñez might be the make weight, because Newcastle would need someone to fill that void. They've got Elanga coming in that might be able to run the front of the team, but more suited out wide. I'm wondering, look, if worst case scenario happens and we do lose him, can we get another player in, and can we rekindle Núñez and get him playing and firing for us at Newcastle? I've always thought that might be the trade deal that happens if it does happen, but Newcastle won't want it to happen.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on it. There's reports as well that they're interested in Ugo Ekitike as well. We're going to come back to this conversation in a minute because Eddie Hearn from Matchrooms just joined us now. Hi Eddie, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, we're very, very good, thank you. We're building up to the big fight this weekend. Are you going to it? Are you going to Wembley?
No, we've got a big show in Dallas, Texas, on DAZN as well. Jesse Bam Rodriguez in a big unification, but the time zones won't work well. So I'll be watching Usyk against Dubois before our big show in America.
Fair enough. I mean, we're looking forward to it here on talkSPORT. We've got it all live for you this weekend. So don't forget, Eddie, you can download the talkSPORT app and take us anywhere you go if you want to listen to our coverage of the fight. Big man, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll have that on. I'll have DAZN on, talkSPORT. I'll have everything covered. Eyes and ears
everywhere. How do you see this one going? Dubois or Usyk? Who's under more pressure to win this one?
I mean, look, it's a brilliant fight. It's the undisputed heavyweight world championship. So, it doesn't get much bigger than that. I think Dubois is on a great run. He beat Jarrell Miller. He beat Hrgovic. He beat AJ, of course. Did have that fight fall through with Joseph Parker. So, been a little bit inactive. And Usyk, what can you say? He's been sensational, hasn't he? Obviously beaten Dubois already. Beaten AJ twice. Beaten Fury twice. He's the pound-for-pound king. So, timing's everything. This is the best time for Daniel Dubois to take this opportunity, I think. Usyk is certainly no spring chicken, but everyone keeps thinking he's going to show signs of getting a little bit older. He doesn't seem to do that, but big crowd, Wembley Stadium. Dubois is going to be a tough man to beat, but I think, you always have to favour Alexander Usyk in any fight, but I really believe Dubois has got a good opportunity this weekend.
How do you sit with that, Eddie? You've not got a direct connection with either of the fighters. How do you sit? Do you just sit back and enjoy the fight, or would you prefer to have obviously an interest in it for enjoyment?
Of course, always. You always want to be there. Watching your man try and win, especially try and win the undisputed heavyweight world championship. Obviously, from my point of view, always back the Brit first and foremost, and it's a massive opportunity for Daniel Dubois to pick up those 4 belts. I've promoted Alexander Usyk for, 6-7 fights. He's such a genius, but he's also a great man, great individual. So it's very difficult. I think it's a fascinating fight. I really admire what Dubois has done to come back from, which was really, when he lost to Joe Joyce, he was in a bad way, and for a long time he looked like, he got dropped a couple of times against Lorena. He just didn't look like he was a guy that was going to go and do what he's gone on to do. So you have to give him huge respect. And, it would be massive for British boxing if he could get the win. Usyk's a little bit like an adopted son of British boxing as well. I feel like even the Brits love Usyk. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't. You have to admire the quality and the man himself. So good luck to both men, mate. May the best man win.
Yeah, fair enough. Eddie, can we ask you about the fight that's making some noise as well this week? Anthony Joshua could be in line for a fight against Jake Paul. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
I mean, in the mad world that we live in, you might just see it. When this fight was first mentioned by Jake Paul, I kind of laughed and thought that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And then, meetings with His Excellency last week, who I think realises the commercial size of that fight and that opportunity. So if Jake Paul was mad enough to do it, I think Anthony would probably say yes as well and do everybody a favour and end it all, you know, for Mr. Paul in boxing. So, like I said, not really a fight we've been targeting, but if it's presented to us, why not?
Yeah, fair enough. Also, Conor Benn and Shakur Stevenson, that's doing the trends right now on social media. Anything else to update us on there? Is there a November fight on the card there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have a 2-fight deal with Chris Eubank Jr. His Excellency's told Eubank that September 20th is the date. As I understand it, there's been a little bit of radio silence from Eubank. I don't know, you know, part of me feels like he might not fight again. You know, obviously that was a very taxing fight against Conor Benn. Hamza Shiraz is now in place to fight Canelo Alvarez if he comes through Crawford. So Eubank's a bit in limbo if he doesn't take the Conor Benn fight. And, you know, maybe physically after, you know, I know he had 3 or 4 days in hospital after the fight. He doesn't want to go to war again on September 20th. If he doesn't, the whole world wants to fight Conor Benn at the moment. You know, you've got Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. They're all calling him out. So there's been a lot of, like you said, interest and trend. They were on the Ariel Helwani show. Conor and Shakur came together. Yeah. You know, Shakur is a lightweight. It would be like Conor moving up 2 divisions like he did. Be like Shakur doing the same. And pound for pound, he's a phenomenal fighter. But up at welterweight, Conor feels like he'd give him a run for his money. So if we don't get Eubank, if he chooses to duck out of the fight, then why not Shakur Stevenson later in the year?
What are the details that you would go in when you're looking for someone to fight Conor Benn? What you're looking at? Is it purely down to money, or is it other aspects as well?
You know, the money fight, Piercy, was Eubank. You know, you've got a young, undefeated welterweight. Really, what you want to do is take him towards a world championship, and that's the dream. But the Eubank fight came along. Obviously, commercially, it was huge. We know the narrative, we know the storyline, and we signed up for those 2 fights. But outside of the Eubank fight, really, the aim for Conor Benn is to win a world championship at 147 pounds in his own division. So, you know, I think that we're excited to see that happen. But once we get this Eubank situation, you know, cleared up, really it's all eyes on trying to see Conor Benn do what his father did, which was to go and win a world championship in his weight class. I believe he's got the ability to do it. That fight gave him great profile, great admiration because of the way that he fights. But yeah, you know, the money's obviously almost secured for him now. It's just a case of going and achieving that legacy of becoming world champion.
Lovely. Eddie Hearn, live from Texas. Good luck for your fights this weekend then, Eddie. We'll hear more from you on Drive very, very soon. Thanks so much to Eddie Hearn for coming on the show. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll continue that conversation about Isak and the strikers who are available and wanted in the Premier League. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT. day. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn and Stuart Pierce with you with Motorpoint. Thousands of cars, all at unbeatable prices. Guaranteed. You can head to motorpoint.co.uk for details. It's my kid's birthday this weekend. They turned 6. I was just telling Stuart all about the party plans.
Oh, fantastic.
You're wanting an invite to this party,
I
aren't
could
you?
be one of your reptiles that you're in.
I was
Put
just
me in
saying,
a suit.
there's like reptiles coming to the party, so all the kids can get to have these little reptiles.
What we have, tarantulas or
Tarantulas,
not?
the snakes, lizards, geckos, frogs,
Oh, wow.
toads.
Do all the other kids quite happy with
If you don't want to be part of it, you can take yourself to the bouncy castle.
Okay,
So
nice.
then there's alternatives, but yeah, proper tarantula in the
Yeah,
house. I'll be
scared the
losing
life
my
out of a few of
marbles.
that.
I know, but it keeps the kids happy. If the kids are happy, Stuart.
Yeah, it's a happy parents.
Yeah, we're happy. Still to come for you in Drive. We're going to be joined by European football expert Kevin Hatchard. We've got Drive Worldwide on the way. And a few months ago, we were discussing the news that Liverpool prepared to pay this £120 million to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle. Newcastle believed to value Isak at £150 million. Still hope to convince him to sign this new deal. If they can get him to do this new deal, it's said to be the most expensive Newcastle player ever. Off the back of that, we want to discuss a few of the other top strikers who we'll see in the Premier League, who they could be playing for and what they'll need to achieve next season. So Viktor Gyökeres set to sign for Arsenal. Stuart, I mean, we've been... This is like been dragging on as well, isn't it? I mean, they said on Monday they were hoping to have an announcement come then. It's not been announced as yet, but I mean, I'm excited to see him in the Prem.
Well, Arsenal need to do business, I think, because as you look now and think who are going to be exciting times at Chelsea, obviously what they've done this summer. Liverpool seem to be investing in players. There's teams all around that. Elanga going up to Newcastle. I think Arsenal need to generate interest with their own fans, if nothing else. And listen, Arsenal needing a centre forward, I'm getting a little bit bored with that story because it's been going on 5 years now, really, hasn't it?
We're all
if not
done
longer.
with it. Honestly,
Yeah.
if we had a shot every time someone said Arsenal need a number 9.
Yeah, exactly. So really, they need to generate a little bit of excitement this pre-season, and you know that might just be the striker they need. They need options up front. I think this day and age in football, I would say that you need 3. I mean, Liverpool won the league last year. They're almost interchangeable at the front end of their team last season with probably 5 or 6 strikers.
See, when you think about the numbers of Gyökeres, it's in 97 goals and 103 appearances.
Yeah.
Do you have any doubt that he wouldn't do it in the Premier League?
I always have doubt.
Really, even with those numbers?
Yeah. I've seen too many good players come from Holland, let's say, that have got brilliant numbers there, and various other places that have not cracked it. Listen, if Thierry Henry can come over here and not crack it in the first season, anyone can not crack it. Yeah, you don't know until they arrive. Confidence, how the family settle. There's a multitude of so many different... How his teammates operate with him. Will he get a good supply line? All of those type of things. So you never know until they arrive.
Do you like Batman?
Yeah.
So do you like Bane, his celebration? Nobody knew his name till he put on the mask.
You've lost me a little bit there.
You know when he does the cover in his mouth as if he's wearing the Bane mask?
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
Ah, right,
It's
okay.
Bane. See, not completely useless today. Kai Havertz at Arsenal. I mean, just in the subject of Arsenal, what's your expectation of him this season?
To be fair, I think he's offered Arsenal a brilliant option up front. I never saw him as that point man up there. I think he's enjoyed playing up there, but Arsenal need another option alongside him, if not 2 options. They were hoping that maybe some of the youngsters come through the academy and supplemented what he was doing. But I think they still look very isolated at the front end of the team and have done for a year or so.
Fair enough. Let's discuss Chelsea now as well, fresh from winning the Club World Cup. João Pedro and Liam Delap, do you think these 2 signings are enough to then put them in a title race next season?
Well, don't forget you got Jackson thrown in the mix as well.
He's linked to Man United.
Well, exactly. I mean, he's one that creates things, but you think he's near miss for a decent striker. I'd put him in the same category as Núñez, really, Darwin Núñez. That I look at him and he excites me. What I like about both of them, they might miss chances, but they don't go shrinking and hiding. They carry on and they'll get in again, and Núñez will miss again and he'll come back and miss it. I think Jackson's a similar type, you know, and if you've got that mentality, it's the ones that totally shrink and disappear because they've missed a chance are the ones you worry about, that you think you're never going to rekindle it or never going to hit it off. The strikers that keep coming back, and both of those... Would I move Jackson on? Well, only the manager knows that. You're in a situation with him that you think, well, he's done okay, but if he does hit it off, he could end up scoring 30 goals in a season with the amount of chances he gets in, but he doesn't score them regularly enough. But if he does hit it off, are you prepared to start the season with Delap and with João Pedro in the hope that either or both of them are going to supply the goals that you need to be A, in the Champions League, and B, top of the league?
Yeah, true. Just finally, Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa. Do you see him getting a good run at Aston Villa this season? Of course, there was the links to Arsenal and the January transfer window just gone. It seems like something's ever so slightly off there. Do you think he would get a move elsewhere? Or?
I think the age that he's at the moment depends on Aston Villa's aspirations, really. You know, where he is at the moment, you won't get probably another year or 2 years, and then if you want to maximise your money in the transfer market for him, that might be the time to sell him.
Right.
But you've got to replace him. That's the biggest problem you have. Before someone goes out the door, you've got to make sure you've got a ready replacement.
Very good point. We'll be joined by European football expert Kev Hatchard very soon for a bit of Drive Worldwide. But time now for no Googling. And Nani Maduke looks set to become the 16th player to play for both Chelsea and Arsenal in the Premier League when he completes his move across London. We want to know which pair of clubs have shared the most players in Premier League history. Which pair of clubs have shared the most players in Premier League history? Harvest a guess?
I know it's not Liverpool and Everton. I would hasten to guess that. Any rivals, I would say definitely not. The two Manchester clubs, no.
Keep guessing. You'll find out next on Drive on talkSPORT.
Or perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nani Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe's tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season, because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Nani Maduke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. And Nani Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk, and it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okoli, but he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover, so Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okoli's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT. Wednesday, you're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Shebahn and Pierce with you, and for Andy and Benty today, just for one day only. We brought you no Googling just before the break. We asked you the question, with Nani Maduke, or Maduke as Alan Brazil calls him, set to become the 16th player to play for both Chelsea and Arsenal in the Premier League. We asked the question, which pair of clubs shared the most players in Premier League history? You guessed. No, you didn't.
I told you it couldn't be. The two Manchester clubs definitely no. Liverpool and Everton definitely no. The rivalry, I would say not. Chelsea and Arsenal was 16. They won't be far off that.
This is the thing. I feel like Arsenal are getting a lot of Chelsea's players at the moment.
Seems it over time. Whether it's just like, you know, the likes of William Gallas and Ashley Cole, high-profile players, is in your mind.
It is, yeah. A lot of recent.
Sterling.
Actually, it's Fulham and Tottenham.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Wow. 24 players have played for both clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah.
24, that's a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
Interesting. Still to come for you, we're going to discuss Scottie Scheffler's lack of love for golf. That amazing press conference that came out yesterday ahead of the Open at Royal Portrush, which, when I heard it, Stuart, my jaw was actually like, oh my God, like, he really was just letting it all out. It was like therapy for him ahead of the Open. We'll discuss that with you. And also, England's women are currently taking on India in their first one-day international. Georgie Heath is watching for us here at talkSPORT. Georgie.
Yeah, India are currently 58 for 1 in the 12th over. The wicket to fall, that of Smriti Mandana, which is a key wicket because she's been in absolutely flying form across the T20s. England women, they managed to get themselves to 259, much thanks to Sophia Dunkley's 83. But now India 58 for 1. They need another 201 runs, and they've got 9 wickets still in hand.
Georgie Heath, thank you very much. Back with you a little bit later on. Okay, it's time now for this.
Drive worldwide. Why?
This is Drive Worldwide, where we take a look at some of the biggest talking points from across the world of football. And joining us now, European football expert Kevin Hatchard. Kev, sitting there on the YouTube stream just now, if you're watching on your smart TV with a Batman top on, so you must have known the celebration. Nobody knew his name until he put on the mask.
That's very good.
Apparently
it was like he was in the room there.
Like Borat or something. Is that
I thought she was Borat, but there you go. Don't encourage her, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't get out much.
I put on the mask.
Was that you again?
That's top production. Look at that.
There you go.
Look how quickly that appeared.
We just turn these things out. Kev, it's good to see you. How are you getting on? I mean, we're going to start with the future of Liverpool winger Luis Diaz, because he's reportedly told the club that he wants to leave after they rejected a £58.6 million opening offer for him from Bayern. 17 goals in all competitions for Liverpool last season. We know you're a big fan of him as well. What do we need to know about this? Why do Bayern want Diaz as well?
Yeah, well, Bayern want to make a big splash in the market because they wanted Florian Wirtz and they didn't get him. And of course, Liverpool are directly responsible for that. The problem for Bayern now is that everybody knows they have that cash and everybody knows they cleared the decks because Thomas Müller left, and that's a huge chunk of money off the wage bill. Leroy Sané left as well, and that's a huge amount of money as well. And they know that Bayern need reinforcements because they've got Harry Kane up front, brilliant, and he's always going to be the main man in that number 9 role. Michael Olise's made that right-hand side his own. He was probably the Bundesliga's best player in the season just gone. But they do need somebody to replace Jamal Musiala in the short term because he's going to be out for the next few months after that horrific injury at the Club World Cup. And they definitely need somebody for that left-hand side. They've got Kingsley Coman, they've got Serge Gnabry, but they clearly want to make a big eye-catching move in the market. Now, they've been linked with Nick Voltemade, who's a really unusual but really exciting player at Stuttgart. Big, tall guy, but he's got amazing technical quality. He could play centre-forward, he could play a bit off the left as well. But Luis Diaz is the kind of profile of player they're looking for. And the other thing as well is that we know that he's prepared to do the work without the ball. We've seen that for Arne Slot. We've seen that for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp as well. So that really appeals to them under Vincent Kompany.
I think with the energy that Liverpool have got, he would be one that I would not want to be leaving that football club if I was a Liverpool fan personally. And from Bayern's point of view, when you've been to a club and bought a player and they've been a success, like you spoke about Elise there, what about Eze? Do you think they'll look at him and think, maybe an option there to Bayern?
That wouldn't surprise me at all because he's the kind of creative player they're going to have to look at. Obviously, the link with Michael Olise is already there. And I think they are in the market for any player who they believe can really help them because that losing Musiala and missing out on Wirtz, there was all this talk in Germany of how you're going to fit them both into the same team. Well, now they've got the opposite problem because they haven't got either of them. And so somebody with that kind of creativity, I think could certainly help them. So that's not doing the rounds in German media yet. But it wouldn't surprise me. Another one to keep an eye on, I think, later in the window is Rodrigo, because it strikes me that if Real Madrid are prepared to do a deal there, and he was not involved really for Real Madrid at the Club World Cup, if they're prepared to do a deal, that's something Bayern and I think some Premier League clubs should be all over, because I think he's a phenomenal talent. And when you think of the experience that he has for a player of his age, a player who's just coming up to his mid-20s, there aren't many players out there like him.
Can we move on and talk now about Ugo Ekitike at Frankfurt? Because you watch so much German football, Kev. He's linked with Newcastle this week. There's news today that Liverpool have opened talks with the German side over a deal for Ekitike this summer. I mean, what kind of player is he? What can you expect from him in the Prem?
Yeah, really exciting player. Quite an unusual player. He's tall, he's rangy, he's got a burst of pace, but he's really skillful as well. There are things in his game I think he can improve and will improve. I think he's a good finisher, but he's not quite an absolute elite finisher, but I think that can come. I think some of his link-up play will improve as well, but there is a real talent there. And this is somebody that's already packed a lot of kind of different experiences into his career. He was at Reims, did really well for them. He went to PSG too early. But from the moment that he arrived at Eintracht Frankfurt, he really relished being a regular first-team player. Dino Topmüller, who's been his coach there, is an excellent coach, real talent developer. He's come on leaps and bounds under him in the last 18 months. I think what's interesting is that he had quite a good click with Omar Marmoush when Marmoush was there, and they dovetailed really well. When Marmoush left, Ekitike really took it upon himself to play that central striker's role, that number 9, up there leading the attack on his own. So he's already shown that he can play in different ways.
Do we see a bit of a transfer merry-go-round going on this summer? As soon as one moves, obviously that'll trigger another one, another one, another one.
Yeah, it's always the way. And especially you look at this Ekitike situation, because it's quite clear that Liverpool have sounded out Newcastle about Isak. Newcastle are adamant that that's not going to happen, that they don't want Isak to go, and that if they sign Ekitike, that's to put them together in the squad rather than a replacement. But of course, what we don't know is what Isak thinks about all of this. Yeah. And so if he suddenly says, well, that's actually a move I'd quite like, that then changes the dynamic a bit. So yeah, quite a lot of these links, especially in the striker market, are very much tied together.
Can we focus on Spanish football now as well, Kev? Because the Barcelona keeper is believed to be training on his own, is expected to be in pre-season on Sunday. But what's the situation there? Is he getting a move out of the club?
Well, this is an amazing situation when you think about it, because Marc-Andre ter Stegen, at times at Barcelona, has been regarded as one of the best keepers out there. And he's waited so long to be Germany's number 1. Finally, Manuel Neuer has retired from international football with Germany. And he picks up an injury for a start, serious knee injury, so that rules him out. And now he's in a situation a year out from a World Cup, presuming Germany get there, where he isn't guaranteed a first-team place at Barcelona. They've signed Joan Garcia from Espanyol, and they clearly see him as their number 1 going forward. Wojciech Szczesny, who was off the beach pretty much last season and was tempted out of retirement, he signed a new deal as well. So they've kind of got there too. So ter Stegen's in this situation where he's training outside of the first-team squad. There's no indication yet about whether he's going to join the first-team squad. And I think Barcelona will look to get him off the wage bill and look to try and bring some cash in. So I think there's an opportunity there for someone. You know, he's very experienced, and when he's on it and when he's fully fit, he's a brilliant goalkeeper.
When you say an opportunity for someone, potentially in the Premier League or outside that?
No, I think the Premier League. I mean, he'd obviously have a market in Germany, but I'm not sure in Germany who can afford his wages, who would need a goalkeeper, because you look at the big 2. Dortmund have got Gregor Kobel. He was brilliant at the Club World Cup. Neuer's still at Bayern, so that's not a move I think that they would make. So then that brings you to who needs a goalkeeper, and there's been lots of talk about Andre Onana's future at Manchester United. Could ter Stegen be an interesting option for them?
Right. Kev, just very quickly, I want to get an update on where we are with Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, if that's happening. I don't know if you've seen these quotes from Teddy Sheringham just in the last couple of hours. You strive as a youngster to get to the very top and play for clubs like United, and when you're there you appreciate it. You don't throw it away and say that you want to leave. I find the whole episode very soul destroying. I hope Rashford doesn't get the move that he's hankering for. I mean, that's quite an incredible thing for Sheringham to say. I think a lot of people might agree with him that. Do we know where we're at with the Rashford situation to Barca?
I think there is interest, and if you look at Barcelona so far in the summer, the one deal they wanted to do was to bring Nico Williams in from Athletic Club, and he signed a new long-term deal to stay in Bilbao. And Barcelona thought they'd got him. And that came down, it's believed, to whether they were prepared to put a clause in Barcelona whereby if they could register him, he could walk away for nothing. And Barcelona weren't very keen on that, and so that fell over. And so that left wing is something they want to strengthen. He's somebody that can play multiple positions, but he doesn't come cheap in terms of the wage bill. And I kind of lump Rashford in with some other players, because what you're going to see this summer, not just at United, at other clubs as well, you're going to see players who've got a decision to make. Do they hang on to what they believe is their level of wages, or do they go somewhere to restart their career? And I think that's what some of these guys are going to have to decide on, because you have seen some players that have taken a big pay cut, still quite a lot of money to be fair, but taking a big pay cut because they want to play. And I think there are going to be some big decisions for players to make, not just at United, but elsewhere as well.
Kev, thank you so much for coming on. Our European football expert, Kevin Hatchard there, gets in the Batmobile and exits the building. Stuart, just those lines from from Teddy Sheringham there, he sounds like he might be cut from the same cloth as you. You know, you want to see people just work hard and push to get the moves that they deserve, not just hope that they get one because the other one didn't work out for you.
Well, I think the words from Teddy have come from when you look at his journey. You know, he worked his way up from Millwall, come to Forest and joined us at Forest, and then Tottenham, and then United. And you always had the impression he was really proud to represent all the clubs that he did. But the journey that he went on made him the man that he was. I can understand his frustration a little bit with Marcus. I still look at Marcus Rashford now and think wherever he goes next year, there's still 20 plus goals in him. So I think he's still a really good signing. You've just got to get inside his head that rediscovers that fire in his belly a little bit. I think, you know, the excesses of the game have sort of eroded him. And sometimes when you've been a superstar from a very young age, which he was, and you've had your 10 years in the game, you lose drive a little bit. He needs to go and be loved somewhere where someone can rekindle that love, I think.
Speaking of love, we're going to discuss Scottie Scheffler's lack of it for golf next on Drive on talkSPORT. are you doing today? You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn and Stuart Pierce with you with Motorpoint. New car with same-day drive away available on all cars, and you can book a test drive today. Still to come for you, we're going to be asking West Ham fans, are you fearing relegation next season? This is not a drill. It's been a quiet summer. Lots needs to happen. We want to be talking to you about that. Just quickly, Bournemouth, by the way, have completed the £25 million signing of Chelsea goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic, and world number one Scottie Scheffer has been speaking to the media ahead of the start of the 153rd Open Championship at Royal Portrush this week. We've got it all live for you on talkSPORT 2 from tomorrow morning. Cannot wait for this. But Scottie Scheffer had very interesting things to say to the media about the life of a professional golfer yesterday.
I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart. You know, there's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to number one in the world, and then they're like, what's the point? And you know, I really do believe that, because, you know, what is the point? You're like, why do I want to win this tournament so bad? That's something that I wrestle with on a daily basis. It's like showing up at the Masters every year. It's like, why do I want to win this golf tournament so badly? Why do I want to win the Open Championship so badly? I don't know. Because if I win, it's going to be awesome for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to get to the next week, and it's going to be like, hey, you won 2 majors this year. How important is it for you to win the FedEx Cup playoffs? And it's just like, we're back here again, you know? So we really do. We work so hard for such little moments. And, you know, I'm kind of a sicko. I love putting in the work. I love being able to practice. I love getting out to live out my dreams. But at the end of the day, sometimes I just don't understand the point.
I mean, very candid there from Scottie Scheffer in every way. Stuart, I mean, he's obviously under a lot of pressure. You can relate to being in a pressurised job and in that environment. I mean, can you relate to what he's saying?
100%. That's, for me, football management. You know, the enjoyment lasts literally when the relief kicks in, when the final whistle goes. And then by the time you've got in the dressing room, have a little bit of euphoria with the players, you're thinking about next Saturday and you think, bloody hell, I haven't enjoyed this. As a player, you did. I did as a player. But certainly as a manager, when all pressures rests on your shoulder, that is a different category altogether. And I can see the connections there. I can see what he's saying. Maybe it's good psychology in some ways, and saying, look, I'm going to take the pressure. Don't overly enjoy it. Don't matter whether I win or not. I think he's still got a burning desire to win. I read between the lines there. You know, he still enjoys practicing, and why you still enjoy the training, the practicing, the golf tournaments. What he doesn't enjoy is the end bit, when people say, like us in journalism now, turn around and say, you've won 2. I remember watching Luke Littler. He won the World Championship, and people were saying, he could break so-and-so's record and win 14 or whatever.
Pressure.
Let him enjoy the one, for goodness sake, you know what I mean? And that's what everyone's looking for. The story, the narrative. Can you be a world champion a million times, you know?
And that's the thing. I mean, there's a number of people who are now criticising Scottie Scheffer for how he's spoken, saying, you know, you're a multi-millionaire from the job that you've got and the job that you are so good at. But the bit that really took me there was when he was talking about if golf ever affected his wife and his child. That's the minute he'd be like, I'm done with this. And I think it's so refreshing to hear someone so elite at what they do. Make sure they know what their priority is. Because you can always be replaced.
I wouldn't criticise him for what he's just said. I think that's a great insight.
A lot of people are. It's crazy.
What a top sports person wrestles with in their mind internally when you go through everything that you go through, the ups and downs, and there's more downs probably than ups potentially, you know, the injuries, the this, the that, everything you've got to give up as well, the sacrifices you have to give up if you want to be the best that you personally can be. I'm not talking about being a world champion, I'm talking about being the best version and the best professional that you possibly can be. I've given up. When I look back over my career, my goodness, I was obsessed to a ridiculous level, you know. Christmas Day, I was injured. I'd been out with a broken shin at West Ham at the age of 37 for, how long? I was out for I think at that stage, 3.5 months, I was not going to return to a football pitch for another month and a half. And on Christmas Day, I turned up in the kitchen to go over the park on my own with a football to train. And my wife at the time said, "What the hell are you doing? It's Christmas Day." I said, "I don't care. I've got to train."
Do you regret any of that? Like,
No.
what Scottish... That was it? You were happy there?
Yeah. I wouldn't have been me if I compromised.
That's the thing. I mean, so many people in so many jobs, not just sport, but like business, the people who have been the most successful in the field quite often have got two families or have then, because they prioritised that, and Scottie's sitting there saying, "I'm not going to let that happen. I'm still going to be the best I can be." It's like you're kind of really torn, because to be successful, it's something you have to be in all in.
You do. I mean, I've worked recently with David Moyes, you know what I mean? The obsession with the game. Alex Ferguson, you know, to be the best, you've got to give up so much.
And I won't be surprised if Scottie rocks up tomorrow and wins the Open. He's that guy. He's that good. We've got it live exclusively for you on talkSPORT 2. All gets underway tomorrow morning at Royal Portrush. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT.
Manchester United remain determined in their pursuit of Bryan Mbeumo, but with discipline and patience. The club feel they've been burnt by paying over the odds in recent windows and have that in mind as talks with Brentford drag on. Here's talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs.
But there is still optimism and confidence on Manchester United's side, and Mbeumo only wants Manchester United. The parties are still not that far apart in valuation, and the next week is key because Manchester United do want to try and get Mbeumo over the line before they head off to America for their pre-season tour.
If you're one of those Arsenal fans who signed a petition to stop the club signing Nani Maduke, this Arsenal legend says that's pathetic.
You can't do that. So I think that's wrong. I really do. You give him a chance. He's a young 23-year-old. He's England. He's got in the England squad. Can play either wing. He's versatile. Yeah. So I'm against that, if I'm being honest.
Either way, it's not worked. The deal's over the line and Maduke signed a 5-year deal with the club. Ahead of that undisputed heavyweight bout at Wembley between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, Frank Warren reckons Dubois learnt vital lessons from his defeat to the champion back in 2023.
I think the most important thing is him mentally maturing. And I think the fight he had with Usyk was the making of him.
Dubois looks by far the bigger man, but former British super middleweight champion Paul Smith told talkSPORT this could play into Usyk's game plan.
With that power, you do carry that late, but also the size of Dubois, we keep saying it as a compliment and as a plus. The size also has a lot of lactic acid that'll kick in once he's carrying that big frame.
You can listen to live coverage of that huge heavyweight clash right here on talkSPORT Saturday night. And after world number one Scottie Scheffer admitted he sometimes wonders what's the point of winning golf, how's this landed with his tour mates? Well, JJ Spawn, who's just won the US Open, said Scottie's got a point.
I believe there's some truth behind Scottie's words, for sure. You know, yeah, you do have these high aspirations, these dreams to accomplish things in golf at the highest level, and then you do, and it happens so quick, and then you're so elated, and then all of a sudden it's like, now what?
Remember, you'll be able to hear all the action from the Open tomorrow live over on talkSPORT 2.
How are you getting on today? You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne Stuart Pearce in for Andy and Benty. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. We're going to be talking to Stuart very soon about what pre-season training was like under Brian Clough. It's that time of the year, baby, where everyone's sweating out their backside and they're way back into pre-season training. That's just me 9 times out of 10.
Oh my God. That is something in football, and I love football to bits, but the pre-season period coming back and that first day of the season where you think, I'm not fit.
Yeah.
You know, your mind plays tricks with you.
My sister's just had 2 weeks off in America.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, back to pre-season.
Yeah.
She calls it fat camp.
Yeah.
And my son yesterday asked her if she was having a baby. Straight up was like, have you got a baby in your tummy? She was like, it must be that bad.
Yeah.
It must be that bad. Okay, time now to talk about West Ham fans. Are you fearing relegation next season?
Not a bad delivery, and steered in by Kudus in front of the West Ham fans.
And we understand that Spurs have agreed a deal worth around £55 million to sign Mohamed Kudus from West Ham.
Just won't go down well when you're selling one of your best players to Tottenham if you're a West Ham supporter.
He was like ripping it up for West Ham. He was like the player to go to, i.e. in the offensive positions. And then suddenly his performances dropped off the scale.
A low ball into the box. Kudus shoots this time. He's not going to miss. It's into the top corner, and they lead by a goal to nil. West Ham United.
West Ham are lining up targets as they look to reinvest the £54.5 million they received from Spurs for Mohamed Kudus. Liverpool's Harvey Elliott is reportedly one of those that Graham Potter would like to bring in this summer as he heads into his first full season as manager at the club. Speaking of Kudus, he has risked angering his former fans at West Ham for comments he made during his Spurs medical after the doctor said that he was going to listen to Kudus's heart. In a video released on social media, the winger responded by saying that he will find Spurs in there. Former West Ham boss Alan Pardew was alongside Jeff Stelling on yesterday's breakfast show, and he wasn't happy with Kudus's behaviour.
You don't want to start wandering around East London looking for clothes or anything at the moment.
13th of September, Pards. West Ham against Spurs. I bet he'll get a hot reception.
He'll get reminded then. You know exactly what he's been. You know, when you move football clubs, it's very, very important to show a bit of respect. Do you know what I mean? And that is disrespectful what he's done there.
Is he meant to? Is that not a bit deep, Stuart?
He's probably not meant it with the ferocity that it probably might be delivered or perceived. My first game for West Ham was Tottenham at Upton Park, and I hadn't realised the real rivalry. You don't know until you turn up, you're a fan or you're a player, and then you start realising it.
Shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll get a very good reception from the West Ham faithful, that is for sure. I think it's been a bit of a blow, him leaving the football club, no doubt about that. Pards' point, he had lost a bit from the sparkle that he showed when he first come through the door there. We thought, wow, look at this player, incredible, you know what I mean? Really give the club a lift and one thing and another. They've decided to take the money. I think there was a sell-on clause within the contract, potentially, but I think Tottenham have got a decent player there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's focus on West Ham then, because there's some genuine concern. There's more kind of anxiety from some West Ham fans going into the new season instead of excitement. They've not done a lot of business. They've brought in this youngster, El Hadji Malik Diouf, not to be confused with El Hadj Diouf. But Graham Potter has a lot to do, doesn't he, if he wants to avoid being relegated?
I think his honeymoon season last year, on the back of the fans, half the fans wanted Dave gone, the other half didn't, the other half I think everyone respected the trophy that come to West Ham for the first time in 40 years, I think. Graham's come in, who's an outstanding coach, no doubt about that, and I think he's got a little bit to prove this season. He'll be aware of that we're in the results business in many ways. I think the fans last year were brilliant with him, you know what I mean? But there'll be an expectation that things improve slightly this year and the club climb up the league. Bear in mind that they probably got fortunate, West Ham, that there was such a poor Tottenham and Manchester United that were in and around them.
I mean, they've got a lot to do, and fans are genuinely worried about this. You can let us know your thoughts, by the way, 03717 223344. Are you genuinely concerned that you might be looking at relegation next season? And when you look, Pierce, at the teams that have come up, you know, making their moves, getting some business done early, I mean, if any of them stay up, West Ham could be a contender for going down.
Well, if you look at last season, 3 teams that come up never really had an attempt at staying in the division.
Yeah.
And that took so much pressure off the likes of West Ham, Man United and Spurs that were in the problem areas of the table. This season, I think, certainly with Burnley and Leeds, I think they'll make a better fist of it. And that could put pressure on certain bigger names in the division that probably don't start particularly well. And West Ham might be in that category. I think Graham's a good coach, no doubt about that. And I think what they need to do is go in the marketplace and maybe bring a couple of faces through the door that the fans go, we're going in the right direction. Keeping Bowen was a big thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully that stays the way. He's probably an ugly duckling, but I love him to bits. Thomas Souček, he scores 10 plus goals each season.
Yeah.
He heads the ball in both boxes, brave as a lion, and keeping him at the football club where there's talk of him leaving the club as well. Keeping him was a big thing.
Talking about Graham Potter then, like you say, he is a good manager. We have seen good performances from Graham Potter's sides, but when you look at West Ham, he's won just 5 out of 19 games. They're in charge, so there's pressure on him early on.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think he's trying to develop a style of play at West Ham and probably needs to shuffle the pack a little bit. I know in my time there with Davey, he had a real clutch of players that he could rely on, you know, that you could set your watch to, and the Součeks and Creswells and Declan Rice and Noble, and you know, they'll give you everything they've got, and he created that, Moyes. I think Graham's got to create that ethos again at West Ham if he can.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was reading just one of the kind of fan profiles earlier on, and they were saying about maybe it needing a bit more time, like the culture of the club maybe having to change again, going through like a new project. So Graham Potter, with the money that he's got to play with, if Sullivan's given the green light to go and spend some money, is to bring in these younger players who might be part of a longer term plan.
Yes, it's certainly got to be the case. You look at it now. I looked at the team last year. Emerson come in, done really well the season. They won silverware. And I looked at the team selection. Emerson's on the bench now. With his experience, he's on the bench, and a youngster was playing in his position, which is a good thing in some respects, but you've got a senior player on the outside of it that's an international. Pagetta as well's had this betting situation floating around, and and he's up 1 minute and down the next, and polarised opinion of the thing. And I think Graham's got to work out either get a tune out of them or move them on quickly.
Graham Potter believed to be very impressed with Nicholas Füllkrug and how well he's been doing of late, how well he's doing over the summer as well. It'll be important to keep him fit, keep him happy in the side, won't it?
Well, get him in the side to start with, you know. You need a focal point in the team. He's not played as much as they were hoping. It's been really, you know, Sebastian Haller was there before. It's been a real difficult thing trying to sign a centre-forward at West Ham to come and rip it up there and lead the line continually. And he's one that you're hoping this season will do it. It wouldn't surprise me before the season started if he went back to Germany, if there was money there. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Do you have a genuine concern that West Ham could go down?
No, I think they're too strong to go down. Their manager's too good to take them down. But if they're in the bottom half of the league and don't show the fans that there is upturn from last year, I think there'll be a little bit of discontent there. And if the fans are discontented, it won't help the team.
Yeah. I hate to bring up this conversation, but how much time do you give Potter?
Me personally, are you going into character again now? I think if it was me and I'm a different animal, I always give managers plenty of time. The whole of this season coming up, he hasn't had a full season yet. He hasn't had a pre-season yet. He hasn't had at least 3 or 4 transfer windows. The whole of this season, without a doubt.
Okay. Time now to take your calls then. West Ham fans, how are you feeling about this season? Also the Kudus chat, what's your thoughts on that in the new season? 03717 223344. Pick up the phone, give us a call and we'll get you on Drive next. Surf Rock.
Yeah, this won't be in my quiz later, I can assure you.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and Stuart Pierce with you with Motorpoint. Thousands of cars, all at unbeatable prices guaranteed. All you have to do is head to motorpoint.co.uk for details. Coming up very soon, we'll be talking to Stuart about what pre-season training looked like under Brian Clough. But time now for this.
Let battle commence on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July. Live only on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
So, this Saturday, live at Wembley Stadium, talkSPORT going to be there for Alexander Usyk taking on Daniel Dubois. And it's all thanks to our friends at DAZN. You could be there as well. We've got an amazing pair of tickets up for grabs this week, along with travel, accommodation and money to play with on the night as well. Joining us now to try and retain their title, keep hold of those tickets, is yesterday's winner, our current champion, James, and today's challenger, hoping to take the top spot, is Joe. James and Joe, good to have you. Good to have you with us. How are you getting on? Oh, James and Joe, you've obviously confused me already. Hi, James.
Hi, all right.
Hiya. Hi, Joe.
Hello, Shebahn.
Hello. Very good to speak to you both. James, you're the current champion. Are you confident you can go all the way?
I'm not sure.
All right. You sound really positive there.
Bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's just a competition. Joe, do you think you can take these tickets?
Oh, let's hope so. If he's as nervous as he sounds, I've got some chance.
I was going to say. Here's how the game works, just to remind you. The pair of you will have to fight it out by answering 5 boxing questions each. Whoever lands the most correct answers wins. As this is our final round, today's winner will be crowned the champion and then wins the tickets, the travel, accommodation and the spending money for the night. If you draw today, we'll go to a tiebreaker to find out her winner. You might have to keep me right for this, guys, but are you ready?
Yep.
Okay,
ready.
I'm going to toss a coin, but instead I need one of you to guess first. James, can you guess which hand my pen is in?
Left.
That is the incorrect answer. Off to a bad start, James. Joe, you get to go first, okay?
Yes, thank you, Shebahn.
Okay, here we go. You get 5 questions each. Joe, question number 1. In 2017, which boxer defeated Vladimir Klitschko by total knockout in the 11th round to retain his heavyweight title?
What's the year again?
It was 2017.
2017.
I'm going to push you for an answer.
Pass.
Okay. James, here's your first question from Stuart Pierce.
Right, I am questioning the top ones now, am I?
Yeah, that's you.
One. Which British boxer did David Haye famously fight and defeat in a grudge match in 2012?
Tony Bellew? Wrong.
Incorrect. Derek Chisore.
Okay, question number 2 for you here, Joe. Which British boxer was known as the Italian Dragon?
Joe Calzaghe.
Correct. That is 1 point for you. Over to you, James Piercy.
James, what is Alexander Usyk's boxing nickname?
The Cat.
Correct.
Well done. Give us a
1-1.
meow for an extra point.
Meow.
I'm joking, you don't get an extra point for that, but you did meow live on the radio. Okay, Joe, to have your next question. Who defeated Tony Bellew in his final professional fight?
Usyk.
Congratulations. Yeah, another point for you, Joe. James, your next one.
In what year did the Thriller in Manila take place?
1974? Oh, that was Rumble in the Jungle.
75.
James.
Unlucky.
So close. Okay, Joe, what is the name of the iconic boxing venue in Bethnal Green, London?
York Hall.
Well done. Good point for you there.
Good knowledge. Who was the first fighter to defeat Mike Tyson as a professional?
You must get this right, James, to stay in it.
Buster Douglas.
Correct. Well done under pressure.
He stays in. Okay, Joe, if you get this right, you win the tickets and this lovely prize. In Wilder against Fury 2, which round did Fury win by total knockout?
11th.
It's the incorrect answer. It was in the 7th round. Over to you, James and Stuart Pierce, with your question.
James, champ, you need this. to go into a tiebreaker. In what round did Manny Pacquiao knock out Ricky Hatton in 2009?
The 9th round?
Wrong. It was the second round.
Go on, Joe boy.
New champ.
Thank you.
We got a new champion of the quiz. Joe, congratulations. Well done to you. You're going to Wembley this weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. James, you did well this week, but not to be my friend.
Commiserations, James. Yeah, cheers anyways. Well done, mate.
Oh, James, God bless you, done so well. He meowed on the radio and everything. Joe, if I were you, I'd hit him up and see if he wants to go with you this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's spoken for already, Shebahn.
Fair enough, take me instead. Who are you going to take with you to the fight?
I'm just going to nip down and see my mate Chris, see if he fancies going to Wembley for the weekend.
Lovely stuff. Well done to you. All thanks to DAZN. Don't miss any of the heavyweight rematch between Usyk and Dubois for all the belts and undisputed glory this Saturday, the 19th of July. Live only on DAZN. You can buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Let battle commence on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July. Live only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Oh, well done to Joe there, going to the fight this weekend. He's got tickets to Wembley to watch Usyk versus Dubois on Saturday night. Travel, accommodation and spending money. Get that in his belly. And if you're not going to the fight, don't forget you can download the talkSPORT app because we've got it live and exclusive for you this weekend as well. If you're heading out and about, don't worry, talkSPORT has you covered. We've been talking about West Ham as well and their current situation. Are you worried, West Ham fans, about the season ahead? Are you genuinely feeling any sort of relegation? 03717 223344. Paul is here, the West Ham fan. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, guys. How you doing? You all right?
Oh, we're very good. We're cooking with gas. How do you feel about this, Paul? I mean, Stuart's not concerned about relegation, are you?
To be honest, I think we deserve it. I went to Tottenham at home last year. Absolute pony. No atmosphere, nothing. I don't know what's going on at West Ham, but we've spent, near on 200 million on donkeys. Kudos. I mean, why are we selling him for that price? I thought he had a clause. I mean, we're just giving players away, and the players we're bringing in end up not playing. Somerville, how many games has he had? Falkirk, how many games has he had? The only one that's playing with any art at the moment is Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. Nobody else is interested in playing for West Ham with those colours. It's absolute joke. It's a con. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's just incredible.
I think it's been, I mean, obviously I've been on the inside at West Ham with Moyes and whatever. It's been interesting times over the last few years. There's been investment at times, and a lot of investment, by the way, from the owner. The trophies come in a couple of years ago, which give the club a real big lift and whatever. How do you stand on the David Moyes in or out scenario? What was your mentality there?
To be honest, I think we should have kept him, but that's a bit of history with it all. I mean, he did us proud at the end of it all. I'm with him. I'm with the new guy at the moment, but we've got honestly, I just cannot believe what is going on. Somerville, what's happened to him? Yeah, do you know, we've this Strident or whatever his name is. He's got lovely white teeth. Great. I mean, there's a tablet you buy from the chemist called Sterafil or something. But where's he gone? He spent 200 million. What's happened to him? He gets sacked and we pay him off.
Paul, listen.
Oh, man.
I can feel your frustration, Paul. Let it all out with us here on Drive and Talk.
I think yes.
Yeah, you have let that all out. Paul feeling that West Ham deserve relegation next season from what he's seen so far. You can keep your calls coming in about this. 03717 223344. It's time now for No Googling. We're joined by former England captain Stuart Pierce today. It's a lovely treat. We want to know which two players share the record for making the most appearances as England captain. No Googling. Which two players share the record for making the most appearances as England captain? Oh, hello. Do you think you know?
I've got it. Do you want the answers?
Do we take... No. Just, give me one who you think. Do you know?
Brian Robson.
Oh, you're miles off it. Miles off it. Stuart Pierce. You'll find out next on Drive.
Oh, how bad.
Manchester United remain determined in their pursuit of Bryan Mbeumo, but with discipline and patience. The club feel they've been burnt by paying over the odds in recent windows and have that in mind as talks with Brentford drag on. Here's talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs.
But there is still optimism and confidence on Manchester United's side, and Mbeumo only wants Manchester United. The parties are still not that far apart in valuation.
If you're one of those Arsenal fans who signed a petition to stop the club signing Nani Maduke, this Arsenal legend says that's pathetic.
You can't do that. I think that's wrong. I really do. You give him a chance. He's a young 23-year-old.
Either way, it's not worked. The deal's over the line and Maduke signed a 5-year deal with the club. Ahead of that undisputed heavyweight bout at Wembley between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, Frank Warren reckons Dubois learnt vital lessons from his defeat to the champion back in 2023.
I think the most important thing is him mentally maturing. And I think the fight he had with Usyk was the making of him.
You can listen to live coverage of that huge heavyweight clash right here on talkSPORT Saturday night. And after world number one Scottie Scheffer admitted he sometimes wonders what's the point of winning golf, how's this landed with his tour mates? Well, JJ Spawn, who's just won the US Open, said Scottie's got a point.
I believe there's some truth behind Scottie's words, for sure.
Remember, you'll be able to hear all the action from the Open tomorrow live over on talkSPORT 2.
Bra. Name that tune.
I don't know what tune it is. It sounds very much like the Ramones, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know who run out to the Ramones?
No.
What Premier League club?
Runs out to the Man City?
Newcastle United.
No, they run out to Oasis.
Blitzkrieg Bop, yeah.
Oh.
And the Skids.
Skid marks.
Southampton, Into the Valley.
Right.
Sorry, the Saints are coming. That is the Skids from Dunfermline. A lot of these punk bands actually lend themselves to football clubs.
Makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And it does, it gets you like pumped up. It's just...
It's not for you, though.
Do you know, no, it's not for me. It's just I'm not you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you are totally invested in punk music.
Yeah.
I like it though. Stuart was saying earlier on that him and his wife have a thing on your fridge.
Fridge list, yeah.
So gigs, holidays, to places to visit.
Yeah.
Things to do.
Things to do. Yeah. So we have 3 columns that we update. I update it every 4 months.
There you go.
And we tick off if we've done it. So, which is really good if you need a present for your other half in any way, shape or form.
Hint,
you
Jamie.
just go to the fridge, check the fridge.
Yeah, my husband probably doesn't know where the fridge is.
That's a good point. Maybe you should put it on the inside of the fridge rather than the outside. All men know what's it.
Put it in his golf bag. You'd find it in there.
See, there's always somewhere.
What's on your gig list then? Because I feel like you've been to every gig under the sun.
Yeah, but I rehash it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the Sex Pistols, Stranglers are playing in Margate on the 23rd.
Yeah, but they're going to get a restraining order against you because you've taken that to what, up to 350?
Yeah. Oasis next Friday at Wembley, which is a good one. Looking forward to that. What else is on the agenda?
I think Kendrick Lamar's at Spurs tomorrow night.
Is he really? You can stay there,
yeah?
Yeah. I might stay in and wash my hair. Yeah.
Fair enough. He's having root canal. Before the break, we asked you the last of today's no Googling questions. Piercy's been failing remarkably at these today, which is banter. Which 2 players share the record for making the most appearances as England captain? Who did you say?
Well, Brian Robson and David Beckham were the 2 I would have gone for.
Very good guesses, but was in fact Billy Wright and Bobby Moore,
wow,
who had 90 appearances each as England captain.
Wow,
that's amazing.
That is impressive.
How many were you as England captain?
10, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Following us at 7 o'clock tonight, Max Scott is here for the Transfer Insiders. He's got Flex alongside him. They'll be taking your calls. 03717 223344 is the number. And England's women are currently in one-day international action against India, and Georgie Heath is watching for talkSPORT. Hi, Georgie.
Hello. Yeah, India currently 116 for 3 after 26 overs, so they need another 143 runs to win. They're almost exactly on par with where England were at this point, but they have just lost 2 fairly quick wickets, so that has slowed their progress down. So it's in the balance here at the Utility Bowl. India 117 for 3.
Georgie, thank you very much. It's that time of year, Stuart. We heard Jamie O'Hara talking about pre-season and what it was like for him last night on the sports bar. The players head back, and it's a famously tough time for players coming off the back of their holidays. Like 2 weeks of a blowout of just probably eating, I don't know, they might dare themselves to eat a bag of chips or something, and it's like, oh my God, I'm carrying it. They feel the difference. But what was it like going through pre-season with a manager like Brian Clough? I mean, you're the perfect man to ask.
My mentality at the end of a long season was, I'm talking about back in the day now, late 70s.
We don't judge.
Late 70s, early 80s, was because I was so professional during the season, even in those days, to let myself down and probably try and put on half a stone. I don't know why I had that mentality, but I thought it would do me good.
Right.
So coming back in to pre-season was always a bit of a worry. Normally 5 weeks worth of pre-season with Brian Clough. Training was quite hard. We used to go in Nottingham. We used to use a park in the middle of Nottingham called Woollerton Park. We used to go there. So they had certain runs around it. One was the lake, which is a mile round, which was horrible. Yeah. Bear in mind, we had no clue about what to wear on our feet then. So it was either put your moulded studs on or a pair of plimsolls and run. The bird cage was another one. That was more short level, but up a hill to Woollerton House. Down to the far gate and back. So I can remember them all. They're imprinted on my brain because I disliked them. They were terrible. And bear in mind, in our team, we had people like Franz Carr that could float over the ground ridiculously. But the main thing we used to do, once we got those initial 10 days out the way, pre-season was a doddle because all we done was play games. So we might go to, I think 13 years in a row, I went to Sweden pre-season. We just never trained, just played the game. So we used to fly in on the Friday, play a game Saturday and a game Sunday, which you used to play 90 minutes of those. Day off Monday, play Tuesday, day off Wednesday, play Thursday, go over there to play 6 or 7 games, then come back. And that was pre-season in the main. The games kept you fit. The squads were quite small. I think most we travelled with was probably 18 players. That was it.
Right.
They didn't rotate a great deal, and that was your pre-season in many ways. I remember I come back from the World Cup in 1990, and I said to Brian Clough, our last game was on the 4th of July, I think it was, 3rd and 4th place playoff, 4th of July. We were due back in, I think, about the 6th of July. So I went to see Brian Clough, walked into his office and said, do you mind if I have 2 weeks off because I haven't had any time off? He went, I've signed a contract for us to go to Sweden. You're coming on that, but you can have the 2 weeks off leading into the season. I said, well, I can't do that. I said, I won't be fit. He said, well, take it or leave it. So he was quite happy for me to have the 2 weeks off and literally turn up for the first game of the season. It wouldn't have worried him, and do no training those 2 weeks.
So go to pre-season, then have a holiday, and then go back in season.
Yeah.
That guy sounds just...
Yeah, it was
magic.
unique, to be fair.
Imagine he would have a few curveballs for players in pre-season as well. Like it wasn't your average day at the office, was it?
No, no day was with him. It was all incredible. And to be fair, once the season started, we were probably the most lightly raced football team in regard to the amount of training we done. But you always wanted more. He would walk onto the training pitch and say, that's it, you've had enough. And there would be times the coaches would just look and say, we've only just started. We've just done the warm-up, you know. But his mentality was keep you fresh for the games.
Right.
And the second half of the season, when the Cups, the FA Cup, the League Cup and whatever, we were probably as strong as any team in the country because we didn't have burnout.
And what about now? I mean, how much does pre-season compare to when you were a player?
It's easier.
It's easier now?
Yeah, definitely easier.
Because they don't have the blowouts maybe like you would have done back in the day?
Well, what you do is, I mean, I become conditioning coaches come into the game when I was at Forest, and they end up putting you into groups. So I played till I was 40. So at the back end of my 30s, they put me in a group and telling me to slow down, slow down, slow down. Because everything's on heart rate monitors and whatever, everything's monitored.
Right.
So I always found that it was a lot easier. We had a conditioning coach, Juan Carlos Osorio, come in and joined us at Man City when I just finished and went in my last season, basically, as a player. And all the players pre-season were saying to him, we've not done enough, we've not done enough. He said, trust me, trust me, trust me. And he was right. You know, the mentality of British and English players was we need to do lots of training, but that wasn't the case, you know, and it's changed now. Sports science coming into it.
Yeah, exactly. See, when you said you would gain 6 pounds or whatever it was.
Half a stone.
But
maybe more.
Did you feel it?
I could see it.
You could just see it?
Yeah, I had a gut, you know, but you try to do that. I'll eat as much shit as I can. Pardon my language, and you know, have a few beers to put the weight on because I'll be better for it in pre-season.
Right, okay.
I don't know where I got that mentality from, but that was the case.
Okay, we got to have these down. Got to let your hair down at times.
Exactly that.
Did you ever get physically sick in pre-season?
Never. No. I didn't eat in the mornings before training. Never did. And I never. In the main, for most of my career, I just would have a cup of tea before I went to training. I didn't like eating before training.
Oh, fair enough.
Which goes against what they tell you nowadays.
Exactly that. Honestly, I walk up the stairs some days, Stuart.
And throw up.
And I'm like, help. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. What are we going to do now, Joe? Shall I stick to talk about this? So I'm going to break. Okay, coming up next, we've got apparently a bizarre quiz for me next, and we're going to talk about some of the other transfers before the insiders come up next. Evening.
the passenger.
I knew this one.
Oh, it's not on the quiz.
Damn. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Shebahn and Stuart Pierce with you with Motorpoint. New car with same-day drive away available on all cars. You can book a test drive today. Max Scott is with you very soon with the Transfer Insiders with his buddy Flex to take you through all the latest in the transfer window and the goings on just now. And remember that talkSPORT brings you live and exclusive commentary of every single British and Irish Lions test match and warm-up in Australia this summer. The first of those is this Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, live here on talkSPORT. All gets underway at 11 o'clock. And then tomorrow, the announcement for the squad for the game is at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning on talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders. Stuart, you've been picked for England squads in the past and big tournaments. What's it like waiting for that call to hear from the gaffer, to know that you're in?
Well, put it this way, you know that they only come round every 2 years or 4 years in World Cups and Euros scenario. To miss the cut is an absolute killer. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was a regular starter, so there was no sort of jeopardy for me in a couple of the squads that I was in. You knew you were going to be in the squad. I missed the cut with Glenn Hoddle in '98, being dropped out the squad, I think, in April. You know, having been part of that squad for the best part of a year and a half, year and 3/4, which was a real blow. But I never had the scenario that the fabled sort of Gaza being left out on the last camp in France, that type of thing. And that must have been soul-destroying for individuals, you know, being part of a long squad that got whittled down. That isn't great.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Lions squad selection and the squad announcements, you know, getting to the initial squad. They find out when Andy Farrell announces it.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an unusual way of doing it.
Yeah.
And Ray Parlour was speaking back in the day when you used to see it on teletext.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you found out. Now it's all these phone calls and then there's leaks and stuff in camp, whereas these guys find out when the boss announces it.
Yeah, I think nowadays, and I've been in that managerial scenario where you're always trying to lessen the humiliation for players. How would you like to receive it? A lot of the players used to say to me, I don't want to go in a meeting room and then you put the team up. I'd rather know beforehand. So whenever I managed a team, I always used to pull the players. If I was changing the team from last week and leaving a player out or two players out, I'd always grab them before the meeting and say, I'm leaving you out this week. This is why. Or give you an opportunity in a forum to question me as a manager.
I mean, the Lions, I think it's been fascinating so far, but the true test, of course, is this weekend. Saturday, live for you here exclusively on talkSPORT. All gets underway at 11 o'clock. All of our build-up from 10 o'clock in the morning as well, live here on talkSPORT against the Wallabies. It is going to be juicy, unbeaten so far on Aussie soil. Let's hope they can continue that for him as well. Now, Stuart, I believe you have a quiz. Apparently, Stuart, on his journey in today, just decided to write a quiz for me. But it's a music-based quiz.
Obviously.
I'm miles off it with my music. So you know I'm going to just fail miserably at this.
Well, what we'll do is aimed at yourself, but obviously if we've got listeners that want to play alongside you, all well and good. So I'll give you a quick recap of the rules of the game. We've got 8 songs. You get a point for the song, point for the singer, and a point for the country.
Hope you can count.
That it goes to.
Right.
That it alludes to. And on top of that, what knits all the answers and all the countries together.
Right.
Okay?
I think so.
You happy with that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. First one coming up.
Okay.
Ready?
Go. Aha, Take On Me.
And it might allude to the country that the band come from.
Are they... I don't know where they're from.
Okay, next one up. I can't give you too long. Irish band. I saw them last weekend.
Last weekend? Oh, is it Kneecap?
No.
Is it Fontaines, DC?
Correct, I'll give you that.
Bosh!
Okay, don't forget you're looking for a tune and a country to go with that. Right. Okay, next one up.
Stereophonics?
No, sounds like them. 4 letters in the name of the band.
4 letters.
Okay, gonna have to move on.
Oh, Stewie,
I know.
Tough.
Here we go. This one, you might be all right with this. Go ahead.
I'm not looking for New England. Kirsty McCall.
Correct.
My mum's favourite.
Lovely. So don't forget, you're looking for a country.
Right.
Should be straightforward.
New England, yeah.
And Kirsty McCall. Okay. Next one up.
Killers?
No.
Sounds like them.
Dublin band.
Dublin bands. You've gone heavy Irish. Oh, you too, of course, it's Bono. Okay.
Right. Let's move on. This one's a little bit of a swerve ball, but here we go.
I like it. Whatever it is.
Northern Ireland band.
Northern Ireland.
Aye.
Northern Ireland bands.
I'm pretty sure.
I've not a clue.
You get it after a fire.
Ash.
Thank you.
Right. They actually sound decent. I like the sound of this.
It's a good tune.
How many times have you seen Ash?
That's 6.
Said nobody ever.
Okay, next one up. Now you've got to get the country for a start.
What's her chops? It's not Dusty.
Welsh. No, she's Welsh.
No. Oh, I don't know. Bonnie Tyler.
Correct.
Yes!
There are you cruising now?
Get that!
Okay, last one coming up.
Take my breath away, Berlin.
Correct. So what country?
Berlin.
Exactly, yes.
Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So you've got that one in its entirety.
Right, okay.
Okay, that's the 8. Can you hasten a guess what connects all of the countries that you've got?
Germany, Ireland.
No, Ireland wasn't one of them.
Was it?
No.
So we've got Germany.
So you got Germany.
England.
England.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got Wales in there?
No.
No? Oh, I
right.
played the game wrong.
I'll give you the answers now.
Right, go on.
And then
And
gives
I'll
you
work
thinking
out.
time.
Okay.
Right. First one up was Aha, Take On Me, which you got both of those.
Absolutely smashed that. Yep.
And they are from Norway.
Norway.
The country.
Women's Euros teams.
Thank you. Well
Have
done.
some of that.
Get in there.
Yes.
Right.
So, Stuart, that was magic.
Second up was Fontaine's DC, which you got them.
Yeah.
The song was Roman Holiday.
Yes.
And the country.
Italy.
Thank you very much.
Got it.
Next one up was Muse.
Yeah.
And the song was Stockholm Syndrome.
Right, yeah. Sweden. Of course, they play tomorrow night against the Lionesses.
Indeed. You got Kirsty McCall and New England.
Yeah.
And England.
Yeah.
The U2 song was Spanish Eyes.
In Spain.
Spain.
Love that.
Ash, which was a bit naughty of me, which is Burn Baby Burn, as in Bern, the capital of Switzerland.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Bonnie Tyler, Lost in France.
Got it.
And the last one you got. So you've done quite well, I thought.
I enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Good,
you learn
my pleasure.
something new every day. Stuart, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Drive. The Transfer Insiders are on the way next. We're back tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Drive. Until then, bye, driver.